Good afternoon and welcome to the live coverage of the Simply Race British Championships here live from the Simply Race facility in Milton Keynes. I'm joined by Darren Kirk and today we will be showing you 7 different races covering 3 different classes. This is the second round of this season of SRBC. The 3 different categories we've got, the Clio Cups, F2000 and SRTCC. We're going to have a quick little look at the intro to SRBC. Currently sitting down in their simulators and just about ready to start the race. We've had a quick look at the quali results. Qualifying happened a little bit earlier on today. We've got series newcomer Matt Richards, who is on pole position. He did that with 107.536. He does, of course, have no weight ballasting. There's championship weight ballasting, so he goes in with no weight and on pole position, so he probably would look to be one of the favourites in this race. Lewis Manley had an up and down first round. He's starting from second on the grid with 48 kilos. He was just 1/10 shy of Richards. Then we've got championship leader Jack Ashton starting in third place. He's got the full 75 kilos to contend with, and that's going to be something he's going to have to carry all the way through this race, and we'll see how he gets on from there. So the cars, I can see that they're just starting to go through the Craner curves and the old hairpin. So I think we're just about to join on them on board. If you are watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, please do feel free to leave us a comment, or if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask us as well. We'll be watching and monitoring that throughout. And so just a couple of the guys trying to warm up their tyres slightly. There is a full race simulation going on here. No fuel though, just tyre wear. So you have to be careful to warm them up, but not too much. I know, Darren, you raced in touring cars last time round. Yep. And what were your tactics on the opening pace lap?
Well, I tried to conserve my tyre life as much as possible. My teammates were a lot better than I was, and they got through the race and managed to win with about 50% left on their tyres. I was down to about 7%. Yeah. So you're
aggressive.
Yeah, I think they'll need to look after their tyres today. We've got 27 laps, and especially those with the weights, they're going to have to really look after, conserve, and then probably push towards the end if they can. Obviously, as soon as you start a race and everyone goes flat out, it's going to be as close as possible, and no one's going to want to give up any spaces, so it'll be interesting to see. I think we can see one of the cars quite far forward in their grid spot. Is that Sean King there?
I think that's Sean King in the green and black car. I'm not sure if he's actually starting to pace, but...
Oh, we see a car moving backwards at the back, so once that gets into position, they'll start the countdown.
Oh. Not sure. I think that's Colin Talbot. He's just missed his grid slot, and is he in now?
Yeah, it sounds like he is in his spot now.
Just race director sorting that out in the back of our ear. I think. No, is he still not there? This is bizarre. I haven't seen this before. Oh, well, there we go. And we're just waiting for the green lights, and there's the flag, and away we go. And it was a really good start from Manley, and he seems to be alongside Richards and around the outside, and we're going to go 2 or 3 abreast into turn 1.
They all get through quite cleanly so far. It's a good effort. You can see someone that's gone off wide.
That's Anthony Jordan. Anthony Jordan's gone wide in his Royal Navy car. Yep. And he's lost a couple of positions, certainly to some of the 130 racing cars. And there's a big pile up. There's a big pile up into the old hairpin. I think all the drivers are still going, but that's spread out the field somewhat. So at the moment, Richards leads from Manley, Ashton in third, King in fourth. A good start for King. And Goodger Scott in fifth, Glodek in sixth, Boyce in seventh, Wilson in eighth, Winwood 9th, Day 10th, Jordan 11th and Talbot in 12th. And not a good start for Anthony Jordan.
No,
then.
Looking at the cars that have dropped down positions, I think it was probably around Winwood Jordan there. Maybe when he rejoined, there's a lot of cars going into a very quick corner, into a braking zone. We're going to see if we can get a replay of that so we can see exactly what happened. But at the moment, Richards has taken the lead. Well, he's kept the lead, but he is being chased by Manley, who wants to get his championship back on track after.
Manley is just 0.2 of a second. I think he had a little look there into turn 1, and they were busy trying to find a replay for you, so we'll try and get that to you as well. But so Richards under pressure from Manley and Ashton. All three of them are just half a second between them. And in fact, Ashton is looking to make a move on that red and white Avensis.
Ashton does have more weight than Manley, so the fact that he's managed to catch back up and now putting some pressure on, you can see Manley straight away goes for the defensive move.
Absolutely, and all that's happening is Richards is getting a nice opportunity to pull away with his 0 weight and also move out the slipstream. So Manley and Ashton will struggle to keep up, and Ashton has a little look. I think he's flashing his headlights as well, and not just yet. Ashton takes his time. He's got a championship lead to protect.
Yes, so he's going to want to get past Manley and try and catch back up with Richards at the front. But we all know Manley is he's a reigning SRTCC champion.
Yep.
He knows these cars. And here we've got replay.
Okay, so this is the first lap then. So coming down the hill, there's something happens just before. Oh, it is between Winwood and Jordan. There was someone else. That's the Cam Sport car that I think had a little bit of collision with it as well. So not sure if we're going to see any penalties there. It just looked like everyone was a little bit too bunched up through one of the fastest parts of the circuit.
Yeah, it certainly looks like a few of the drivers didn't brake either, possibly compounding that incident a bit further than it needed to go, going in rather quick.
Yeah.
When you can see a car spinning across the track in front of you, probably not ideal.
So we'll wait to see if there have been any penalties, but at the moment we're looking at a fascinating battle for second place. The heavier 130 Racing Blue machine chasing the other the other Aventus in front, which is Lewis Manley's in red and white. We've got a red, white and black car that's a little bit further out. So here we go. So this is on board Winwood then. Oh, Winwood gets very sideways. But whether or not there was some, I think it was a little bit unfair earlier. I think people did try to slow down on that look anyway.
Yeah.
But Winwood looked like he got maybe a tap, or he got very loose on cold tyres, and certainly with the front wheel drive cars and the rears take a lot of time to warm up. Actually, that even in the real touring cars, that was happening quite a lot, wasn't it, through the Crane of Curves.
So we've got these three Avensis out in front. There's that fourth one actually in the background as well.
That's King.
King, yes.
He's had a nice clean race, and he'll be very happy to be in fourth at this point, I would have thought.
Ashton's looking racy though on the back of Manley. I'm not sure whether he's going to try a late break into the chicane. He's certainly catching up. He moves out to have a look, but I think he's just trying to work out where he can get past Manley. So he doesn't want to make any mistakes, he doesn't want to make any contact, he wants to get through clean, but he's very quick through that chicane, and you can see as they go up into turn 1, he has taken the outside, and Manley's just moved in slightly to defend, but it's all going to be about this run out of the corner, and you can see Ashton is catching quickly.
Absolutely, and they head down towards Crane of Curves and the old hairpins. This is where we had our turn 1 incident, not with these two guys though. Ashton still has to stay behind the Avensis. There's not really a move on here, or is there? Comes up the hill. He's going to have to hold to the left.
I can hear him in the background encouraging him on. I think they both want to get back onto the leader. And to be fair, they've had to...
Ooh, that's a bold move there. It's hard to make that move happen.
I mean, the gap between these two and the leader is only 1.3 seconds at the moment, so he's not managed to completely scamper away with it as Richards.
I think in the background, I think we had Goodger Scott starting to get closer to King as well, so that's something we'll keep an eye on as well. and as are, I think there were a few other batters up and down the field, and they were compelled by this race of first, second and third. But of course every point matters in the SRTCC Championship.
I can tell you the person with the quickest lap so far is Ashton with a 108.837. That's 0.2 quicker than Lewis Manley's time and a 10th quicker than Richard's time. So those three are really starting to pull away.
One thing that we took away from round one was that Lewis Manley was quite hard on his front tyres. The last season of SRTCC was in rear-wheel drive BMWs. Maybe it's taking a little bit of time just to get reused to the amount of tyre wear that you have in a front-wheel drive car, and it's all about your throttle application. So maybe we'll see that there's a bit of degradation towards the end. And here is Anthony Jordan then. Jordan looks at the inside, then the outside of, that's Day, isn't it? Paul Day. So his focus is trying to get past, and Paul Day's headlights on full whack there. Yeah. Just to blind us all whilst we're watching the live stream.
I think though, with the rear-wheel drive cars, and we saw this last race, they seemed a little bit slower at the start, but then when they came back towards the end of the race, they were rapid. Yeah,
they had much better tyre wear, and that might show the further into the race we go. So we're on lap 7 then. I believe it's a 27 lap race. Yeah, yep. So with a way to go. Obviously we had a bit of an issue with the crash at the start and spread our field out a little bit, but the top three are still nose to tail.
They're within a second now.
Yes, so the two of them have started to work together, and now Richards is within their sight.
So I wonder if Jack's just positioning his car onto the back of Manley, encouraging him along and up the track, rather than fighting too hard.
Well, you say that, he's going to the outside now.
No, that's the racing line though, if anything.
That's true, yeah, that's fair.
Manley's gone a little bit defensive, and I think that's cost him, because he's going to be on the outside round here. We're on board with Ashton now. And we'll have to see when he breaks.
I think Ashton is just a little bit too far back, and that weight's probably hindered him somewhat down the straight, and that's probably cost both of them a little bit of time as well.
Yeah, but I think Ashton's been very clever here. He's not racing too hard.
No.
He's all over the back, and you can see how defensive Manley goes there. And Jack sort of has to move out to the outside. So,
a little bit of grass then for Ashton. He managed to keep traction and keep it planted. The guys have just peaked over 1 second gap between Richards and Manley, and just a result of a little bit of fighting, a little bit of defensive driving. But certainly this race is far from over. We've also got some action down the field, looking at times between. Is that Boyce and Jordan? Yeah, they seem to be swapping around a little bit. That's something we can switch to. Winwood's involved there as well.
I've just seen quite a big incident there on one of our cameras. We're going to see if we can get a replay of that. I can't. It was coming out of the old hairpin, so there's definitely something going on there. You can see our cameraman Dean is trying to find that for us.
Cameraman, producer, T-boy.
Here we go.
Here we go. So down the hill then, and who's that in front? There's definitely a collision between.
I think BMW,
Winwood, Talbot.
I think that was the BMW getting out of shape, which has then hit Winwood when it's rejoined the track. I think we're going to get another replay of that. Just to try and work out exactly what went on there.
Whilst we wait for that replay, the gap has slightly increased.
Oh no, I can see someone else just completely missed a goal. Here we go.
So down the hill, and that's Day in the BMW. Oh right, so Winwood and Jordan have it coming together. Jordan comes back on the circuit, misses the two of them. Winwood then has another little tap on the BMW. They collide, straighten up, they again, and then Talbot is the unlucky one out of all of that.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting one. What's your analysis there, Mr. Kirk?
To be honest, I think I'd want to see that from a few extra camera views to see if there were any.
As a 130 team member.
Oh, it's definitely the other guy's fault. Instantly, Mark, you're innocent. No, I think that obviously there's a little bit of contact further up, which I think has compounded that whole incident. So I think you always got, through such a quick sequence of corners, if you are slightly offline, you've either got to keep your foot in it, hold your line, if you're offline and stick it. As soon as you start moving, or if you do get a little bit sideways, you're always going to have contact. I think we saw that in the real touring cars a couple of weeks ago between who was it? It was between Smiley and Camish.
Yeah,
both were going in there side by side. They had the tiniest little touch. I mean, in real life, the toe link broke, so both of them were out of the race.
Yeah,
but here, you can just see you get a small thing. Everyone bunches up.
All right, so here's a replay. So we're coming through Red Gate.
So you can see there was actually contact there between the BMW and Jordan, which is what slowed Jordan down.
Jordan then makes contact with Winwood here, and that causes Jordan to go off.
It's also slowed Winwood down as well, which has then allowed the BMW to sort of get through. Then there's a bit of pinching on the apex. It's a hard corner to overtake on.
Yeah. This is looking
and
back
chaos.
from... Yeah, that was a big incident actually. It took three or four cars off the circuit.
Yeah.
And certainly put their chances back quite a bit.
Yeah, we can see Shamek Glodek is 1 lap down, so I don't think he's crossed the line, but he's going to be coming up to being lapped, I believe. Mark Winwood, he's 30 seconds down now. His tyres are going to be ruined because that's two big incidents he's had, so I think he's just going to have to try and get as many points as he can from this and regroup from the next race.
Of course, he'll lose all of his current weight as well.
Yep.
So important to remember that some of these drivers are driving with some championship balance and some are not.
Jordan has come out best out of all of those involved in that incident. He's up to 7th now. Boyce is in 8th, Talbot in 9th and Day in 10th, so it's not exactly gone well for any of those guys.
No,
and then this battle at the front seems to be stretching out a little bit. So Richards is still in the lead, about 1.7, 1.8 in front of Manley. And then Ashton's about 2 seconds further back. So it's at... Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, he's 2 seconds off the lead.
Correct.
So he's only about 4/10 behind.
He's not far off of Manley at this point. So there was a point where Ashton dropped off a little bit more than that. And now Manley's falling back into Ashton's grip.
There's great racing between these two. There's no contact. They both pushed each other fairly.
Absolutely.
No stupid moves. It's really good to
see. We'll see.
What lap are we on?
We're on lap 12 of 27 of the SRTCC.
I mean, these guys have been racing each other here for years now. They've got a lot of respect for each other, and I think I don't think there's. I don't think have we ever seen incidents between these two? Very rarely.
No, I can only think of the end of season 2.
Oh, the controversial.
But I think wasn't that with Phil Pott rather than.
Yeah, the pro racing driver who dropped the car.
Yep. Got one wheel on the grass Ukrainers, and unfortunately that was the end of Jack Ashton's chances for season 2, meaning that Lewis Manley won that season. Or was it season 3? I'm getting very confused. Anyway, regardless, Manley now under a bit of pressure from Ashton. Both these drivers have some weight. Ashton has a little bit more. He has 27 kilos more.
I've just seen Goodyear Scott has overtaken King for 4th place. I think it was a clean overtake. I can't see the
here's the battle then. So this is the Chevy Cruze versus the Ford Focus, and the Ford has already got past, but he gets a little bit loose through the old hairpin. And is he still on the... Yeah, do you know what? He held that very well and didn't even lose a huge amount of time.
You will need to be careful on the exit of that corner. I know the stewards, the automatic stewards, hand out penalties for exceeding track limits there quite
severe and harsh.
Yes. I think it's fair though, because you can run wide there and carry more speed.
There's the little drift.
I think he'd have got away with that. You can see someone has been off there though.
Yeah. Well, most people have been off there at some point in some kind of collision.
So I think we've seen here in the past people do push track limits a little bit too hard.
Anthony Jordan is one that I remember fondly on that. Didn't he do that in the Mike Epps Racing Challenge or something?
I wasn't here for that, but I would imagine that to be true, considering he seemed to find all the track limits at Brands. So it'd be interesting. To be fair to him,
not calling him a cheat, but
no, he seems to be on the back of Wilson now, so he is making progress. Here
Jordan's
we are, we're on board
forward
with him now.
Oh right, yeah, absolutely. So through Red Gate they go, the first corner. They then head down the hill through Craner Curves, the right, and then the left. And then into the old hairpin. Into the old hairpin where we've seen most of the collisions so far today. hard on the brakes down into either 4th or 5th gear. Some
bit of curve
for
inside.
others, and Wilson got a little bit loose there, and that's going to give Anthony Jordan a good run up the hill, and they go up the hill into the right hander. Not quite an opening yet, but Wilson's been scared off the apex, and Wilson goes wide, and he has to tuck in then behind Jordan for he's settling for 7th place, and Jordan moves up to 6th.
Yeah, I think he had good car positioning there, Jordan. He kind of he didn't make it obvious that he was going to throw up the inside or anything, but he just positioned his car, and if you're there focusing on the mirrors, it's easy for you to make a mistake. That's why you should never look behind you, always look in front. Obviously keep one eye potentially out behind you, but this battle between 2nd and 3rd is definitely
starting to hot up. I quite like, I know this is quite close, but I'm liking Lewis Manley's paid scheme. It's very Vauxhall Vectra.
Yeah,
Vectra, wasn't it? Was it Super Tourer years?
Yes.
And looking very good in his new livery is Lewis Manley. So Ashton then, what's the gap? 0.3 of a second. I'm just not sure if Ashton has got enough straight line pace.
Is that good? Just Scott just running wide and allowing King to catch up.
So King is now back on the back of Good Just Scott then in the Cam Sport Ford Focus. They're heading down the final on the back straight and through the final chicane.
It's been a good showing from King today.
Absolutely, he's kept his nose clean. He had a good start. He managed to avoid the first lap melee.
Yeah, I think he'll be pleased with how he's.
Let's hope he doesn't run out of fuel.
You can't.
Oh, of course, yeah, we can't run out of fuel today. For those who missed it, he was on for probably his first ever podium here at Simply Race, and ran out of fuel in the USSC Championship about a month or 2 months ago.
I think we've got 2 cars they must have pitted, I think, for new tyres. No, they're just that far behind, Winwood and Glodek. It's not been a good race for either of those, but Glodek's got no weight anyway, being this his first, his re-entry into the championship. Winwood will probably get rid of all his weight on this one.
Yes. He will. I think it's top 10, isn't it, for weight. So on board then with Jack Ashton. So Jack Ashton's Toyota Avensis versus Lewis Manley's Toyota Avensis. And it's a Avensis 1-2-3 at the moment, and Ashton goes to the outside, looks around the outside of Redgate. He's going to be able to cut back and get on the power a little bit earlier. Manley gets a little bit wide, so this is opening an opportunity then for Ashton. I think he has to get out of the gas there. Is he going to make his move down the inside of Craner Curves? Is there going to be any space? Just about enough. They go into the old hairpin, and Jack Ashton has conceded the place, but he'd probably have a better run up the hill.
Great racing from those two there.
Absolutely, it was really, really fair. They left exactly enough room and not any more. So good racing between the two. Obviously, that is allowing Richards to scarper down the road, and he is now 3 seconds clear of this battling duo. It's probably fair to say that Ashton is probably holding Manley up now at this stage of the race.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what tyre wear both of them have got. I'm not sure if I can.
I don't think we can get the live data on our side. We can only get it inside the simulator itself.
Oh, that's a shame, because I honestly think it looks like Lewis is struggling on his tyres.
Yeah,
his times are dropping off.
And this is King then going to the outside of Matt Goodger-Scott, and the two cars go side by side into the final chicane.
King's going to get a good run here.
And
he seemed a little bit slow off there.
Slow off the ape. He's into the slipstream now. He's going to be a bit too far away for a move at Redgate. We're heading down towards the old hairpin again, and can Jack Ashton have another look? And Lewis Manley has to go a little bit defensive. He's going to compromise his exit. He gets a little bit wide. Ashton then trying to hold it around the outside, and they go up the hill. He's just about got his nose there. Has he got enough of his car there for the next corner? And there's a little bit of contact, and they just about touch, and Ashton takes a position. I'm not sure if Manley's going to be too happy about it, but I think it was pretty fair touring car racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jack Ashton was far enough alongside, and then on the actual apex it seemed like there wasn't quite a car's width left.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see another replay of that. I can see Dean's quickly on the replay. Yeah, I would say it's definitely it's a bit of a touring car move, but I think Ashton had enough of this car alongside to
it's
make a
clear
claim
that
for
his
that.
car was there or going to be there.
And also, I think you can see him like lift out slightly as well. He didn't keep his foot in it and push Manley further wide than he needed to go. So here we are going into the old hairpin.
So really good run for Ashton, because Lewis Manley gets a little bit wide as he goes defensive into the old hairpin. He holds it
alongside
all the way around the outside. He's still there. His wheel is still there, and there's a little bit of contact just before they turn. But actually, the rules that we run here are, if you've got your front wheels alongside someone else's rear wheels, you are entitled to space at that corner. I think he just about managed to meet those requirements.
Lewis isn't happy. He's flashing his lights. He's trying to put Jack off. It'll be interesting to see if Lewis can catch up and get into Jack's slipstream and make a move. You can see him flashing his lights all the way down the straight.
Oh, amazing. So a very popular in Tin Top Racing, popular way of distracting your opponents is by using the headlights, and Manley is keen to regain second position.
However, quickest lap of the race, Richards just said it, a 108.6.
So our race leader really getting to the swing of things now.
That is a lap quicker than everyone behind him.
Wow. So he's looking after his tyres. To be fair, he hasn't had to race with anyone. He hasn't had any incidents where he's been going sideways and scrubbed off a lot of tyre wear. He's got it'll be interesting to see how he fares with the weight in race 2. I think that's going to be really interesting for us to see how he compares with the rest of the field, because it is his first race here. But it is easier when everyone else has got a bit of weight.
There's 7.5 laps left now, just under. I think we can hear some exclamations from behind us. So you might see if something's gone on there that we've missed. Now, I'm just...
So Paul Day is 4 laps down, but we're not sure if he's retired for...
He's in the garage.
For an issue, or he's just pulled off because he's had an incident with someone. He's he's called it a day on that race.
Just trying to see if we've got the grid for the next touring car race. I can't see it here.
No, it won't be. It's the results of race 1.
Oh yeah, someone didn't read the rule book, did they?
Yeah, I thought you wrote the rule book.
Right, maybe. Okay, so you can see a spin in BMW.
This result is where they will start race number 2.
But they'll have the weight.
And they'll have the weight based on where they finish rather than based on the championship standings.
So we would assume that Richards is going to start on pole with 75 kilos.
You would have thought so.
That's something untoward. But it looks like they had a spin.
Yeah.
And I wonder... Yeah, I think we see it just being queued up.
Technical issue, or maybe...
No, I think he's just driven into the garage.
Right.
And just parked it.
He's decided he's not had a great race and just parked it. So he comes down, creating the curves, into the old hairpin. It's a little bit loose. Oh, but there's a lot of curb on the inside, and it's probably got a bit on the grass. Gets out the gas. So hard to save it from there. It's easy to put too much lock on.
Keeps out in the barrier though.
Yeah, he does. Carries on. Hopefully he doesn't collide with anyone as they come up the hill. No. That looks things he carried on. Okay, but anyway, Paul Day then finishes in 12th place, so we can say that pretty much for certain with 22, well, we're on lap 22 of 27. Oh, here's another replay. And
I think this is just him coming in.
Right, okay, he parks it, comes in the pits, and pops it in the garage. There we go. Quite some speed as well. If you had anyone standing in that garage, they might not have any legs left. Anyway, so Ashton has managed to pull away from Manley somewhat, but Richards is still pulling away from the pair of them, and he has a 6.4 second lead over Ashton. Manley then another second behind in third. Goodger Scott 22 seconds off our race leader in a comfortable 4th place. I say comfortable, he's still actually... Oh no, sorry, hang on. King has dropped behind Jordan. There we go, that's why I was getting confused. So King is now in 6th place, Jordan's up to 5th. And not sure where that happened.
Just looking at these lap times, I can see Ashton has done a 108.697, so that is 0.05 of a second slower than Richards.
Right, and that was earlier on in the race, was it?
Yeah, their times have dropped off slightly, but that's lap 22. Is that?
No, that's
it's just come up. a lap or two ago.
Right, okay.
So clearly they're getting into a bit of a sweet spot.
So King, they're not sure why, but maybe had a couple of poor laps, and he's now ended up down in 6th place. I'm sure he'll be relatively happy with a strong midfield showing, but what might have been, he could have had another few more points by staying in 5th and possibly had 4th earlier on. So Jordan in 5th, then King in 6th. We've then got Wilson in 7th, and he has dropped off pace-wise quite a bit, because he was with Jordan a few laps ago, and he's now dropped off 5 seconds behind Jordan, which means that Boyce is now starting to catch him for 7th position. Talbot then another half a minute behind.
This is what happened to King. He's just got on the curb a little bit.
So easy to do, and that's going to really damage his tyres as well. All that side, sort of lateral.
Although I can see on the other screen, Jordan has just gone off, and the positions have changed.
Wow!
So I just got that in the corner of my eye.
The one time we go to a replay, and then we miss it.
I'm sure we'll get a replay of this, won't we?
Oh, and Jordan gets up on 2 wheels, and he almost goes over.
I think he's getting a bit desperate now.
Yeah, it's easy when you start getting annoyed with yourself. Easy to overdrive, and certainly one of the risk points of this circuit is those big sausage curbs on the last chicane.
And we've got a replay here.
Okay.
I think he's just gone too hot in here, ran out wide. Oh, that was a lot of curb. You see?
So easy to do that.
Although he's been quite clever here, in where he's lifted out and he's taken a nice route. Yeah, he's lost a position, but he hasn't spun on the curb, which would he can either have spun onto the track and been collected by King.
I want to see this in slow mo. There we go. Here we go with producer Dean.
So it seems to take quite a while to get to the.
We probably went a little bit early on the slow mo.
That's fine. Here we go.
Up on 2 wheels.
It's almost as if he's trying to recreate Epps in the Clio Cup.
Absolutely.
You know?
Nice. Very good to land that though, and he would have lost a few seconds, but he'll still be pushing hard towards the end of the race. We are on lap 25 of 27, so Anthony's starting his lap 25 now, so they'll have 2 laps left to go. Richards is halfway through, and is that King coming into the pits? Maybe he's got a penalty.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a track limits penalty from that actual incident where he spun out.
Yeah, so we see him tumbling down the order now.
I imagine it's track limits. We did mention earlier on in the race that track limits is quite draconian here, and certainly on the exit of the old hairpin.
Obviously, you can't
like this. You've got to be careful there not to get one, Anthony Jordan.
Yeah, you've got to look after the grass here, just like in real MSV circuits. if you mark the grass, they do not like it.
Yeah. So, Jonathan Palmer will send you an invoice.
Yeah, and you get a photo as well for your wall, don't you? Of the moment you went off.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. So if you run off on an MSV circuit, they've got a system that takes a picture of your car off the track.
Really?
So you get called in and you go, I did not go off the track, and they just hand you a photo of your 4 wheels on the grass. So you can't argue it.
Amazing.
It's got pressure sensors on the exits.
Right,
it's a good way of policing it, because then if you can't argue it, can you? It's not subjective.
Absolutely.
You've either done it or you haven't.
Yeah, for sure. And we are on our last lap. No, we're not. Sorry, we're on the penultimate lap at the moment. And this is Anthony Jordan still going a little bit. I thought he was going slowly, but actually he's in 5th now, isn't he? We haven't got anyone to compare it with because King came in for his penalty. This is Richards then.
So, yeah,
he's just about to start his last lap, I believe. Unless I've got this entirely wrong and we're about to see a checkered flag.
Yeah, we have got a slightly different overlay for this race, so is there a checkered flag out?
No. Right, so we are on the penultimate lap, so now we're on the final lap, sorry.
Yeah.
And Richards had a fantastic race. He kept his nose completely clean the whole way through, and he's just done very well. No weight. As that has been a benefit, but he has been fast as well, and certainly set some really good lap times. But we will see a strong challenge from Ashton, I'm sure Manley as well, in the coming races.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Richards put a foot wrong all race. I haven't seen him off the track or anything. No running wide, just It's perfect. It's how you need to win a race, isn't it?
Absolutely. It does help when everyone else behind is sort of jostling for position, have a few incidents, and you keep your nose clean. But that's an exact way to run race from lights to flag. And this is
so it'll be
Boyce starting to push Wilson, but we'll see Richards come through the chicane for the final time in race 1 this weekend, and maybe we'll see a flash of lights, maybe not. And he slows down, comes to take the checker flag. Congratulations to Richards taking victory in round in the race 1 today. Ashton comes in 2nd, Manley in 3rd. We're going to see Goodger Scott come home in 4th in a minute after a little bit of an incident. But,
he's certainly a little way down.
We'll wait for a while. I'll look at my watch.
Here
he is. There we go. And Goodger Scott taking a relatively comfortable 4th place. And then Jordan comes in 5th. Jordan could have possibly got Goodger Scott.
He's flashed his lights. He's clearly pleased with this.
Wilson just about comes home ahead of Boyce. And then we're going to see the unfortunate King come home in 8th. Talbot will be 9th. Winwood in 10th. Glodek in 11th. And Day in 12th place. We're going to hopefully grab an interview with our race winner. So we're just trying to see if we can get the guys to organise that for us. Next race up, we'll stick with us because we've got a race coming up now. Well, give us 5-10 minutes or so after the interviews, and you'll have the Clio Cups next. So which last time round were absolutely fantastic to watch. They were by far the most entertaining racing I've seen. So Clio Cups, really looking forward to that in the next 5 minutes. Guys, welcome back. We're joined by Matt Richards, who was the winner of race 1 today. So congratulations. You did incredibly well to lead that race from lights to flag, and you were just telling me about a little bit about your tyre concerns and that kind of thing. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on how that race went for you.
Well, the first couple of laps, I just wanted to sort of create a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
between me and Manley, because with the weight I knew that he was going to be on me. So for the first 10 laps I was focusing on trying to knock out laps that were consistent but not pushing the tyres too much. I didn't want to try and push for fastest lap and make a mistake or do something silly. So for the first 10 laps I just focused on building the gap and making sure that I didn't make any mistakes, and then after that I set myself a target of 2% a lap on the tyre wear, just trying to not push, and if I was getting anywhere near going to 3%, just layering it back, just cruising it through.
Yeah, so it's all about race management for you, and you luckily kept your nose clean through the first few corners, and we saw a big incident further back.
I saw someone go off in turn 1,
well, someone went wide in turn 1, but also about 4 or 5 people went off at Craner Curves and into old hairpin as well. And so you kept your nose really clean, as did Manley and Ashton, and that you guys really kept us sort of entertained throughout the race. You were asking about the fastest lap, actually. Let me see if I can find that for you.
I'm not actually sure. I use a different HUD usually, so I wasn't really sure where to look.
I will try and find out for you. I think you and Ashton were very, very close on lap times, from what I remember. So you had the best lap, 108.692.
Right,
Ashton had a 108.697.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so you super close.
And he's on 75 kilograms?
Correct.
Right, okay.
Yes.
That's a bit of a willy.
Here is Mr. Ashton. Just crouch down because you can see. Here we go. There's our second place driver.
Yeah.
Do you think you can push this man in?
Once he's got a bit of weight, I hope. Oh, he's flying, absolutely flying. It's just like push it. What's the lap times? That's what I heard you saying.
Yeah.
Between us.
Absolutely nothing.
So 5 thousandths of a second between the two of you.
Looks like a good race then, boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, you two will now start first and second on the grid.
Yeah.
With 75 and
66.
Yeah, it's minus 9, isn't it? So kilos on the grid. So I'm looking forward to the next race. I think you guys have now got maybe an hour and a half to kind of relax.
I
chill out.
I was sweating off that.
Yeah,
that was hard work.
It's quite a long
me and
race.
Manley had a great race.
Yeah,
solid.
Fantastic. Maybe if we can get Lewis to join us as well, that'd be great. Lewis, good race. I think it was really enjoyable to watch, and the close racing between you and Jack was fantastic. You guys had a little bit of touching, but actually very respectful throughout. How do you think the race went for you?
I think pretty good, because the weight I carried 48 to Jack 75. Obviously, Jack did superbly well to get second, but going up to the McLeay scores, I weren't sure if I was fully ahead of him, so there was a slight love tap because I almost lost control at the McLeay, so I managed to correct it. But thereabouts, I would have probably let him through anyway because he would have been alongside me, but I almost lost it. But I was very good on the tyres because I still managed to slightly closing at the end, but there was not much time left, so third was probably the maximum I could do.
And obviously in the next race these guys have got a little bit more weight than you, and you're starting third. You're hoping to get on the top 3 or looking for the top step of the podium for the next one?
Depends how the start goes. I'm on the inside this time, which can help because the start first of all was very good. I was comfortably in second, trying to give the leader a bit of a honest answer, but then I'll just drop back a little bit because you've got to really look after the tyres in the races because they really can drop off, especially the front left can be the angriest tyre. That's why you've got to be very circumspect on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, guys. Have a break and we'll see you shortly. Thanks. Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, if you're in the top 3, we get to interview you again. Brilliant. So we're just going to take a very short break here, and then we'll be coming back with my absolute favourite racing series, the Clio Cups. And welcome back to the live coverage of the Simply Race British Championships. I'm Ben Tenner, and I'm now joined by Mark Winwood, who was just racing in the SRTCC race. Not a race to remember for you, but
no,
I know we don't want to go hugely into the detail of
it's a very difficult race for me with so much weight in the car. There's so much ballast on that I found that it changes the balance of the car quite a lot.
Yep.
And that was a real struggle for me, and tyre wear as well, was struggling with. So.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think in the end, I think you end up 9th.
10th.
10th was it? Okay, so just a little bit of weight then for the next race.
Yeah, so the next race, hopefully, a lot less weight on. Try and do better.
Absolutely, and we're live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitch as well. I'm doing my best to kind of try and monitor all the different streams and ways of communicating with us. If you are watching live and you want to ask a question, if you want to make a comment, we would love for you to get involved, so please do. Myself and Mark will do our best to answer anything or do any shout outs and all that kind of stuff as well. Next up, we do have the Clio Cups, and I just said in the little link just beforehand that it's my absolute favourite series to watch, and you commentated on that series with me last time out.
Yeah, it was some great racing. Very exciting series.
Yeah.
Lots of evenly matched drivers. Lots of battling on track. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely incredible, and even looking at the lap times, they're just so close together. And when we do come to racing the Clios, I find that you have to be in the pack somewhat. You have to be with the person in front of you and sort of drafting. We've actually got two names that weren't in the last round at the top of the timesheets, and those two guys, James Holland and John Curry, who are stepping in. Who are they stepping in for? I think it's Eduardo, and I probably shouldn't have attempted that without their names written in front of me.
I don't think Harold's in this round.
Cyril Jacks as well. Yes,
yep.
Correct. So they've stepped in. They are two drivers that race in the Pink Panther Simply Race Endurance Series team, and certainly very, very quick drivers. They are this year been fantastic. I think a 4th and a 5th, I think, so far, and they're top of the Clio Cup qualifying. Top was James Holland with a 1:14.9, the only man to get into the 1:14s. Curry was in second, 15.139. I think those two were working together a little bit, because then there's a little bit of a gap to third place. Between third and 9th, there's then just a second. So Harry Whedon has qualified in third. Ben Brown, our big favourite, or crowd favourite, has qualified in 4th place. So if you're a Ben Brown fan, watch out, he's coming through. David Robertson has qualified in 5th. He had a bit of a disappointing round 1. Few collisions here and there, and he would have been a little bit disappointed by that, but I'm sure he'll bounce back today. Erwin Klumpers will be starting in 6th place. Chris Sainsbury, he's definitely one to watch going forward into...
he's a very fast driver.
Absolutely. Ian Redmond, in his debut in the series, has qualified in 8th. Nathan Burton, he's a bit out of place in 9th place. I would have thought he'd be a bit higher up, and certainly someone to watch out for in 9th. Gavin Bonney in 10th as well, someone to watch out for. Jason Eccles has qualified 11th, and then we've got James Whedon in 12th place. Unfortunately, we've got a couple of drivers unable to attend, so we haven't got the full complement of 15. So who's your money on there, Mark?
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how the top two get on. James Holland and John Curry, they've obviously got real pace. So it'll be a question of looking after the tyres, I think, will be quite crucial on this circuit. And then the drivers a bit more experienced, Ben Brown, Harry Whedon and David Robertson. Yeah, you will be right behind them, I think. So, yeah, it's a hard one to call.
Absolutely, and we will be able to see very shortly 23 laps of the Clio Cups, so a little bit less just because the Clio Cups are a little bit slower compared to the touring cars. I think we've got drivers in their seats behind us. We're not quite ready to go though. Let's have a quick look at what's going on behind us. There we go. There's a lot of drivers gathering round race control. We've got the two race directors, Grant Lyman and Michael Yao, looking over the computer, just making sure that they are 100% ready and happy to go. very important that everyone is correctly allocated to the right simulators. Otherwise we get the wrong results and nobody's happy whatsoever. If you are watching and you want to follow the live timing, one place that's worth going to is simplyrace.liveracers.com, and that will take you to a live timing website, and it will show you exactly all of the sector times, split times, everything, even a little map with where everyone is on circuit next to each other. That said, I don't think you can have time to see that in this series, because everything happens so quickly in the Clio Cups, and we're going to give them a few seconds to start their the pace lap, and then we're going to go on board with them. So Absolutely.
Another man to watch, Chris Hainsby, maybe see if he can move through from 7th on the grid. We know he's got pace. Ian Redmond as well.
I'm sensing a lack of Ben Brown fans today.
Yeah, I don't know where they've all gone.
Where have they gone? Ben Brown fans, where are you? There were so many last week, or last month, or whatever it was. And so if you're a Ben Brown fan, make sure you let us know. And I think I can see that the pace lap has begun. We're going to give him a few minutes or a few seconds just to ensure there are no technical issues or gremlins, as sometimes can occur in the opening stages, and that's why they do the pace lap as well. It's really important that they do the pace lap so they can really be confident there's nothing wrong with the sim. The race control could be happy as well that everything's correctly set up, and we make sure that we get it right first time.
So Donington Park is a great circuit, and it's particularly difficult on the opening lap. So this section through Craner Curves down into the old hairpin is a problem on the first lap, because you've got a compressed field, and it's very easy to make a mistake through the left of Craners coming to the old hairpin, as I did in my race, especially when the pack is so bunched up, and so that'll be a place to watch out for on the first lap.
Absolutely. So the drivers are now then coming into Coppice Corner and onto the Dunlop straight, which is the final one, the big straight, the back straight, before they grid up. And here are our two, our front row, Holland and Curry. It's a bit weird to not see them in a completely pink car. There's a touch of pink, and we can accept that, I think. And here they are then coming onto the grid. They have to make sure they stop in the right place, unlike Mr. Talbot did. Did you see it? Was that in front of you? Or
it was just behind me.
Behind you.
I could see him going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards.
That was something I haven't seen before. Someone not being able to stop in their spot. But it looks like, I was going to say everyone's found it, but actually it looks like Mr. Curry hasn't.
So we see James Holland's got a little bit more pink on the front of the car than John Curry. So that will hopefully help us spot the difference.
So Holland from Curry from Whedon, waiting for the green flag then. I think, we've just got one who's just stopping at the back, and that's Prescott.
Oh yes, Dean Prescott, we haven't mentioned him. I think he'll be one to watch out for.
From the back of the grid. No qualifying for him. And here we go, green flags raised. And away we go then for the start of the race, and a bad start then. I think that was from Whedon, and that's going to allow Robertson to come alongside. We're going 4 abreast into turn 1 through Redgate. That's 5 abreast. Oh my God, who's on the outside there? And that's Whedon who's gone wide, and perhaps there's Chris Sainsbury's come right across the in front. Oh my gosh, there's all sorts of cars everywhere. No, Ben Brown. And drivers managed to get back on circuit, but at the moment, as it stands, Holland from Redmond. So Redmond has jumped all the way up from 8th place. What a great start for Redmond. Yeah, Robertson in 3rd, sorry.
And he broke the pack up a bit there, that incident coming out of Redgate. So actually, I think everyone got through Craner Curves quite cleanly. So, and they're already a little bit strung out, but I guarantee they'll all come back together.
Absolutely. We will definitely see these guys come back together, and one other person that's had a relatively good start is Britan. So Burton's now up to 7th place, and he is pushing James Whedon for 6th, and he is looking to make a move possibly through Coppice. It takes a very tight line, and in that Barracuda red, black and white car.
Yeah, that corner you'll probably see drivers do take different lines. Some like to keep it tight, some like to run around the edge. It sort of amounts to the same thing, but different approaches.
Just behind we've got Eccles Bonnie having a move on Eccles, I think, as well. So we'll keep an eye on where that moves to.
And these sausage curbs through that chicane at the end of the lap are quite tricky. If you hit them at the wrong angle, they can push the car up onto two wheels. So drivers got to be careful not to hit them too hard.
Absolutely, and this is Eccles making a move up the inside of Sainsbury. Doesn't make it this time. Burton is past, so Burton's gone past James Whedon and up into 6th place. There's a bit of a gap between this gaggle of cars and the guys at the front and the lead, but certainly some good racing all the way through the first lap after that incident. Oh, and Eccles gets so sideways through the old hairpin. He comes back on and gets a little nudge from Dean Prescott, and I don't think it was particularly meant. He just sort of came back across him.
Very easy to make a mistake going down to the old hairpin. The back of the car gets very light and can step out on you, and it's quite easy to do what Eccles did there. And
certainly on the opening couple of laps, and Prescott is coming past Eccles then through Coppice. He gets back on the power and is now starting to chase Bonnie for 10th place, that will be, yes. So Burton and Whedon pulling away a little bit from this gaggle of cars. At the front, Holland is leading by 2.3 seconds. That's a great lead for him to have so early on, and very commanding lead in the Clio Cup Series. Robertson in 3rd, starting to push Redman, and this is the gaggle of cars for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, I think. Oh, and Prescott goes up the inside, he gets into the side of Bonnie.
That looked a bit optimistic.
It was a little bit. His car was certainly there by the apex, but was it there beforehand? I'm not entirely sure. And this is Erwin Klumpers, I believe. Yes, Klumpers is in 4th. We haven't mentioned Klumpers yet, but what a great start for him. He, where was he before? He was starting in 6th, so he's up in 4th, so he'll be very happy with that, I would have thought. And there's Robertson, who's gone wide, as has Redman, and they both come back on. Erwin Klumpers is up the inside of Redman at least, so he'll take that 3rd place. Robertson is up into 2nd.
Good driving by Robertson. He's kept it really clean, and so has Klumpers actually. That's why they've got in the positions they're in now, because they just stayed out of trouble the first couple of laps, and you can see what a difference that makes.
We did say it was going to be breathless stuff, and certainly it has been so far, and we've got another 20 laps of this, so I've got to make sure I keep hydrated, and we'll try and bring you replays, but it's so difficult to bring you them because there's so much happening all the way throughout.
Yeah, so Holland has got a really tiny lead now of over 3 seconds, nearly 4 seconds, I think. Oh, and Klumpers has made a mistake.
Oh, Klumpers! Oh no! And he's going to rejoin then, probably behind that entire pack, I would have thought.
That's going to be costly. He just got, I think, whether he got the entry to Redgate a bit wrong, got on the grass, and then with these cars, they will spin quite easily as you keep the throttle wide open, and even then, sometimes you can't stop them going round.
Absolutely.
So that puts Redmond back into 3rd. Little bit of a gap to Robertson, and he's got John Curry just behind him.
So unfortunately we had a bit of an accident for Prescott. I was really looking forward to seeing him push through the field, and I'm sure we'll still see a few more places gained by Prescott. Like you said, it did seem a little bit ambitious, but we have to see the replays to really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, early stage of the race, very keen to make progress. It's easiest to get through the pack early on before they string out too much.
This is a replay then of the race start. We were in 5 abreast into Redgate, which is very ambitious. So there was one of the Whedons gets onto the grass, then comes across.
I think he couldn't stop the car because he was on the grass. And
and then there was chaos after that. And then that chaos then ensued on the exit for everyone, and then all the way down to the old hairpin. So I think we're now back to live, and this is
John Curry.
John Curry, yeah. So Curry now back up into 3rd place. So good move from Curry on Redman.
Yeah, very tidy. And we saw how quick he was in qualifying, so he'll want to be just trying to get into a rhythm now and try and get in the zone, try and catch Robertson, who's driving very cleanly and hasn't made any mistakes so far.
Absolutely. And I know Redman has dropped a couple of places. He was in 2nd, but he should be absolutely delighted with his opening race in the Clio Cup Championship, first ever race in the Clio Cups. And this is Nathan Burton, who is in 5th place and looking to push forward to Redmond. Harry Reedon's stuck with him, and both of them will be working together now to move forward. This is Erwin Klumpers then, is it?
Yeah, that's Klumpers just behind James Whedon and just in front of Jason Eccles, who had that moment earlier on. And Dean Prescott already on the back of Ben Brown and looking for a move into the chicane, I think.
So I think he managed to complete that. Just looking at another screen, and
Eccles made a mistake there coming out the chicane. So he got on the grass and sort of half spin.
The bright yellow Eccles machine has unfortunately found the tyre wall. And ahead, that's Klumpers and James Whedon, is it?
Yes, James Whedon going past Erwin Klumpers there, coming out of Redgate, so that was a nice clean move.
So down the hill they go, into the old hairpin. Hard on the brakes, down into fourth gear, back on the gas. Really important to get on the gas quickly, and you know, someone who has, that is
Prescott's
Dean
got a great
Prescott.
run.
He's going to go around the outside of all of them if he can. Oh, he's going to get pushed onto the grass.
Can he stay here and get on the inside into McLean's?
Oh, and there's a little bit of contact. Fair racing though, just about.
And Klumpers got pushed wide, and that's allowed Ben Brown up the inside, right behind Prescott, who's now trying to have a look at Whedon.
So Ben Brown, oh no, and there's a little bit of contact between Klumpers and Brown.
Feel sorry for Klumpers there. Ben Brown just missed his apex and ran off and just took Klumpers with him.
That
maybe a bit of retaliation there.
Oh no, and Whedon's off as well. What's going on in this race? I think that bit of boarding got stuck underneath the car then as well. That's bizarre. That wasn't a good 20-second advertisement for the Clio Cup Series, was it?
No, I mean it's all getting a bit fraught in the midfield, and this has allowed the guys at the front to really out on their own. I mean, we've got Holland now 5 seconds nearly ahead of Robertson, who's got a couple of seconds over John Curry.
And I'm certain we're going to see some penalties down from race control.
Well, the Ben Brown Klumpers incident was interesting. Ben Brown basically got the corner wrong and took Klumpers off with him.
Yeah.
But then I don't know whether there was a bit of retaliation from Klumpers
or
as they came back on.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not making any judgments. That's for the race directors to decide. I think we will get you a replay though if we can.
So Nathan Burton here, he's running 5th, just in front of Harry Whedon.
Yeah, doing very well, Burton. He had a disappointing qualifying, and here's the replay then. So into the right. So
Ben Brown takes Klumpers off.
It just goes in a little bit too deep. Misses breaking point. And both two of them go off. And then
that's Prescott.
Oh right, so we're watching the incident of Prescott. I think he comes across Prescott there.
He did come across Prescott, yeah.
Prescott's
Prescott was
driving
there.
in a straight line, and you can't just push a car forever. And if you're slightly ahead, you're always going to go into the wall. So interesting. We're trying to watch 2 incidents exactly the same time. And
so here's Nathan Burton, just in front of Harry Whedon. 4th and 5th. 5th and 6th, sorry.
Yes. So we've already said though that Burton's doing well. That Whedon's sort of keeping with him.
So there's a long, big gap to Ian Redman in 4th, and a big gap behind these two. So these two are kind of on their own. So they'll just be looking at each other, just trying to concentrate, get the lap times consistent, and probably trying to look after the tyres a little bit.
And here's a replay. Then this is on board with Klumpers. So Brown goes a bit wide. They both go off. They both sort of stay straight.
He's done well to keep the car in a straight line.
Back on the circuit. To be fair, I don't think you can see him.
No, I don't think you could.
I think I wrongly judged that in my head. I didn't say it, but I think I wrongly judged that because you're trying to come back on the circuit as quickly as possible to lose as little time as possible.
It's very difficult when cars get into places where they wouldn't normally be, and you're all coming back together to the same piece of track. You don't see each other sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I think we've also got a bit of a battle between Sainsbury and Whedon going on as well. So action up and down. Here this is. So that is Brown as well. So Brown, Sainsbury and Whedon.
Chris Sainsbury going at the inside here. He's a bit far back, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe Brown will be able to capitalise on the exit of Redgate. He's already having a look up the inside of Corona Curves. And he's not able to take advantage just yet. He's biding his time with these two drivers in front of him.
This is ambitious.
big move made by Chris Sainsbury, just manages to get it slowed down in time. Ben Brown is faster than both of them off the exit. And
brilliant move by Chris Sainsbury there. Very tidy.
I haven't seen a braver move made there ever, I don't think. And
Difficult
Eccles is now getting involved in the action in his yellow machine, and he is now pushing also to be involved in this fantastic battle for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th places.
Yeah, the great thing about the Clio Cup is you get these battles all the way down the field. Even if it gets strung out, you still get cars clumping together, and you know they're so evenly matched.
There's the lights, so Ben Brown showing or flashing the lights to Whedon in front. I think we're going to see perhaps Sainsbury start to pull away. Really good exit from Ben Brown here. The trouble is he's on the outside. He's got a slight speed advantage off the corner, but
he's going to hope that Whedon will go defensive here and it'll slow him down through Redgate and maybe try and get him on the exit.
Ooh, a little bit of contact then through Redgate, and that's actually worked out worse for Whedon than it has for Brown. And
I think he was compromised going in because he was defending a bit,
yeah.
And as a result, quite often you run wide coming out, and that seems to be what happened.
Absolutely, and Eccles now looking to make a move on Brown. And oh, there was a bit of spare tyre smoke there. I don't think anything particularly happened, just a little touch of oversteer. We are on lap 11 of 23, so we're almost halfway through. We will be halfway through this lap.
Absolutely. So Whedon again, trying to recover. James Whedon just behind the yellow car of Jason Eccles.
I think what's amazing is how quickly Sainsbury's managed to pull away from this pack of three, actually.
Yeah, he's got some pace.
Absolutely, and it's, we already said it's a one-make series, and it's all even Stevens on car choice, so it's all about how your tyres, how you look after them, and your driver skill, and Sainsbury at this point in the race is doing well, some very, very quick laps. So halfway through the race then, Holland leads, Robertson second, Curry in third, Redmond is still in an impressive fourth place, and we've got a bit of a gap to fifth place with Burton, who's attached to the hip with Harry Whedon, Prescott then in seventh, and then another gap to Bonnie, and then this is fifth and sixth, and then that battle for 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th that we were just following a few moments ago.
It looks like Harry Whedon's got a good run on Nathan Burton here, coming down the straight towards the chicane. He's having a look up the inside. He's going to try and outbrake him.
And almost. And
Burton's missed the chicane.
Burton's going to go wide here, and that's going to allow Whedon to cut to the outside. Is he going to have enough pace to get all the way in front before turn one? Burton.
So Burton, looking at his mirrors there, I think, trying to defend, actually went deep into the chicane, hit the curb too much, and then lost all that speed coming out.
So I thought he was going to be able to hold the inside there, but not quite. And Burton does get a good run out of Redgate, however, and then he starts heading down.
Can he do a Chris Sainsbury down here into the old hairpin? It's a brave place to try and pass.
Chris Sainsbury will be very happy with that, Chris.
Whedon's gone defensive. Good driving. Just move the car across a little bit off the line, not much, just enough to sort of say to Nathan Burton, "You're not coming through here."
So what you're saying is a little bit Verstappen-y?
What? No, I think it was a really good piece of defending.
Just scare him a little bit, and then they
just saying I'm not going to leave the door open here. I know you're there, and I'm there. So this is James Holland, who has got a really tidy lead. Well, he's 4 seconds ahead now. So Robertson is actually hanging on, and the gap isn't getting any bigger.
Yeah, this might be worth us having a quick look at lap times. Actually, I haven't looked at them this race because there's been too much happening.
Nathan Burton's still on the back of Whedon here. So they appear quite evenly matched on pace, these two. So this battle could go on to the checkered flag.
I would be surprised if it didn't go on to the checkered flag, to be honest, the way these two are driving and how they've been attached to the hip the whole way through this race.
And this is Jason Eccles, who's just in front of James Whedon.
And these two are going to have a cracking battle as well, and Eccles gets a bad run there. Oh, he's pitting. Right, he must have a drive-through or a stop-go for track limits, I would have thought. Either that or race control have allocated a penalty, so one or two we'll try and find out. I imagine it's probably the track limits penalty, however. Let's have a look at lap times at the moment. So Holland, our race leader, 15.8. 15.6 for Robertson last time round, 15.2 for Curry, so Curry's moving, and he'll be catching Robertson before the end of the race at that pace. Then we've got a gap, so 16.6 for Redmond, Whedon 16.3, 16.6 for Burton, Prescott 15.5, so he's certainly out of position, but catching the guys in front of him, and they will be together within a few laps.
You can see him in the background there. He's behind Nathan Burton, but he's got a few seconds to catch up. But you can just see him coming onto the start-finish straight there. So there is time. Yeah,
and Prescott keen to make that twosome a threesome, so he'll be catching up as quickly as he can. And last time round, still
Chris
still
Sainsbury
very, very
here
quick.
with Ben Brown.
Yes, so Brown's had some good pace to catch back up with Sainsbury, because we mentioned before how impressed we were that Sainsbury managed to pull away from that battle, and now Brown has certainly got some pace. And last time round, well, actually my screen hasn't updated yet, but it certainly seems like it was a fast lap. 16.5.
Ben Brown had a little look into Redgate there, even though he was too far back. I think he's just trying to put himself in Sainsbury's mirrors, just to let him know he's there, and maybe just get Sainsbury thinking about him a bit. They're both wide.
Oh no, Sainsbury! Oh, Chris.
That can happen if you get really wide coming out of the old hairpin. Even sometimes with full throttle on, the car will go round. That's like what happened to Sainsbury there.
So unfortunate for Chris Sainsbury, it suddenly found a bit of pace, was really moving forward, and a mistake on the exit of the old hairpin, which is so easy to do.
And as the tyres get more worn throughout the race, it becomes more and more of a problem, that corner, and you have to keep reining your speed in a bit.
So this is... so Robertson is in front of our shot there, trying to pass Eccles, and this is Curry. So Curry hoping to get past Eccles a little bit faster so he can gain just that little bit of time on Robertson. This will be the battle for second and third positions.
Good driving by Eccles there. He kept well out of the way of John Curry. So Curry now on the charge to try and catch Robertson.
I'm just going to say that Curry needs to be a little bit careful on the amount of curve that he's taking, certainly on the entrance of McLean's, sorry, the apex of McLean's. He's almost four wheels off, and we've already seen that Eccles has had to have a penalty, so there would be another one. And the Barracuda machine, driven by Burton, is pushing Whedon again, and these two are absolutely inseparable.
Yeah, it seems to be yo-yoing back and forth, the pace between these two. Neither of them can pull away from the other.
So
good exit out of the chicane, so important for your lap time. You can really make up a lot of time if you get it right.
Yeah, and a good exit from Burton, but he's not going to be close enough this time round. How far away is Prescott now? 3 seconds. We're going to have time for Prescott to join in. We are on lap 16, are we? So 15 laps completed, so we've got another sort of
on board with Nathan Burton here, down into the old hairpin. Again, look, just see how Whedon just goes a little bit defensive. Just enough to sort of say, I'm not going to leave the door open, but Burton is definitely not going away. He's got just as much pace. It's just a question of, can he find a way through? Is there a gap anywhere?
For sure, and through the blind right-handers, and then into Coppice. So important to set yourself up right for the Dunlop straight.
Whedon was good through there, you know, he carried really good speed. He's actually just edging away slightly. You can see he got slightly better exit. And then into the chicane. Really important here not to take too much of these big sausage curbs. Whedon was spot on, so was Burton. So they're both driving really well. It's just hard to see where you're going to pass. In fact, Whedon on that lap probably pulled out a few car lengths.
Yeah, so interesting to see that and see what the lap times are when they come up on our screen. So 15.994 for Harry Whedon, 16.1 for Nathan Burton.
You can see that 2/10. That's half a dozen car lengths.
Yeah.
Whedon driving well. You know, not easy to drive when you've got a guy behind you is about as fast as you, and
for the
he's always
entire
there.
race as well. It requires a lot of concentration. Just noticed the gap slightly increased between Robertson and Curry. Robertson's put in a very, very good 1:15.563. And despite Curry still being the second fastest man on circuit with 15.789, it was 2/10 back the other way for Robertson last time round. And here they are to cross the line again.
So Robertson and Curry. So Robertson is actually closing in on James Holland, and because he's under pressure from John Curry.
Yeah, you say that. I think Holland did just put in a really good last lap as that happened, 15.5.
So he's responding.
He's responding very, very well as well. Curry dropping back again to 15.9 for him. So in green laps, so best laps of the race so far for Harry Wheaton and Nathan Burton. So the two of them are both pushing on, suddenly finding a lot of pace despite their tyres sort of being towards the end of their life at this part.
That's quite impressive to be able to do those sort of lap times at this stage of the race. So maybe these drivers looked after their tyres a bit better, or they're kind of getting used to the wear rate on the tyres, and they're able to deal with it and still do good lap times.
Yeah, absolutely, really impressive that they're still finding green sectors or purple sectors at this and this part of the race. This is still our closest battle on circuit between Burton and Wheaton, but we're certainly going to keep an eye on the battle for third and second. I think. Right? Oh, sorry, I think I got that slightly wrong. It looked like it had dropped again, the gap between Holland and Robertson. I thought maybe the pressure was showing for Holland, but then I've just seen a purple lap time for Holland, so he's just done the fast lap of the race. And here is Burton going up the inside of the chicane.
Had a little look. He wasn't really close enough, but again, just moving around in the mirrors, just let him know he's there.
It's all psychological mind games, isn't it?
Definitely. And Wheaton is showing, he's absorbing the pressure really well. It doesn't seem to be affecting him, so Burton's trying to do everything he can to just try and put him off, ultimately.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, and he's running out of time now, so we're on lap 19 of 23, so 3.5 laps to go. Holland still leading, gaps down to 3.5 seconds. That was, I think, a bit of cruise control to get down to 3.5 seconds. Good run here from Burton.
I think Holland is controlling the gap, actually, because it seems to be going up and down, but it's staying around 3.5, 4 seconds. It's almost like once I'm 4 seconds ahead, that's far enough. I'll just knock it back a bit, look after the tyres, and just maintain that gap. And
Burton then very, very close, just within a couple of tenths of a second as they head into Coppice, the final real corner before the last chicane.
Burton's got a great run.
He does, yeah, and he's going to tuck into the slipstream. Don't know if he's going to be close enough for the chicane, but he might have a chance when he comes in towards Redgate next time round if he gets a good exit. Has a look.
Too far back.
There was going to be a low contact, but he still might have a good run on the exit. Not quite, so he's going to have to jump back into the slipstream. And Prescott is getting a little bit closer. Prescott last time round, best lap was his last lap was a 15.2 compared to 15.8. So that's 0.6 of a second. We have 3 laps left. Is that right? 3 laps left. So
Prescott is pushing really hard. I think he actually went
1.8 seconds.
Slightly wide coming out of the chicane. He's pushing so hard. And again, Wheaton, that little move across just to block Burton's path down to the old hairpin. He's doing that every lap now.
It's going to be, for Prescott to get on the back of this, it's going to depend on how much these two fight.
Here goes Burton.
Oh, a good move on the inside from Burton. You might get a cut track warning on the inside there, but I thought he had that done.
Couldn't quite do it. It was a good try though.
Absolutely, and he's going to have to set up again. He's going to be desperate to get past Wheaton at this point. He knows that Prescott's getting closer and closer, and he's got 2 laps then to get it done.
Prescott is really pushing. He's closing quickly now. I think maybe Burton's being held up a little bit in places by Wheaton.
I think so.
But only just, and Prescott is there, and he is pushing.
Visually closer, and who's this then? This is Curry?
Ben Brown, I think?
No, yes, Ben Brown and Bonney. So this is 8th and 9th place, and Brown has shown some serious pace in the second part of this of the race, managing to push on get past Sainsbury, Whedon, and now he's looking to get past Bonnie. So Redmond down into 9th place. I think Darren was, our producer Darren was saying that he's just been in the pit, so we imagine that would have been for a sort of a penalty.
Yeah. Strange one. He was having a good race up till then, Redmond, actually.
Yeah, he was a little bit on his own as well, so I'm surprised he did end up with a penalty, but it is very easy to push probably too hard and get yourself a penalty that you didn't necessarily need to give away. So lap 22 for Holland, so lap and a half to go. This is the closest, well, one of the closest battles on circuit. I don't think Prescott's going to quite get there, is he?
No, I think he's just going to run out of time. He needs a few more laps. Whedon,
so he's got 2 laps from now, I think. Am I right? So
Whedon still hasn't really made a single mistake that I can see. Really tidy driving. To maintain this level of concentration and consistency for such a long time.
Prescott really there. He's got 2 laps then to get past 2 drivers who have been battling tooth and nail for the last 21 laps.
I think Burton's going to have to do a lunge somewhere.
And Burton's got a really good run out of the old hairpin. Can he make a move either at the inside or around the outside of the next corner? He's going to look to the inside, then possibly to the outside. No, not this time round. He's going to have to stay attached to the bumper of Whedon.
Whedon defended well there coming in. He just, again, made sure he did not miss the apex and just kept a tight line all the way through.
Burton closer than he's ever been. He's going to push him down the straight and maybe move to the inside. And
he's got an overlap.
Whedon tries to cover him, and oh no! I think Whedon has to take responsibility for that one.
Yeah, Burton definitely had the overlap, and once he's there, he can't go away.
No, absolutely. You can't just turn across the front of another car and expect that to be at the end of it.
That's let Prescott right into the back of Burton, though.
And Prescott might make 2 places here. He was all the way down in 13th, I'm sure, at some point, and he has the possibility to go for 4th place on the final lap of the race. So our race leader Holland is heading into.
We missed it, but
sorry,
John Curry has got past Robertson at some point.
Yes, that's a really good point. Something must have happened there. We'll try and find out from Robertson at the end. We'll have an interview with the top 3. And Burton goes a little bit wide out of the old hairpin. He's going to have to come across strongly. No, looks like there's a really good overlap for Prescott. And Prescott's got the inside then for the next corner. And Prescott manages to complete the move. So congratulations to him, and as long as he keeps in front here, he'll have a 4th place. We're going to cut to the checkered flag though, and congratulations to James Holland winning the first race in the Clio Cups today. 2nd place, John Curry, and then 3rd place, Robertson, after dropping down from 2nd place. This is then the battle for 4th. The next 2 drivers across the road, and looks like Burton's going to have a last-minute dive down the inside of the chicane. Oh, they almost clashed, but not quite, and it looks as though Prescott did just enough to defend that position, so congratulations to him for coming 4th. Burton 5th. Whedon, after that collision, will come home in 6th, I believe.
Disappointed for him. He drove so well for 90% of that race, and then just that little mistake at the end.
Absolutely, and I think that Brown has come home ahead of Bonnie, and Redmond is in 9th, Sainsbury in 10th, Whedon in 11th, Clumpers is in 12th, and Eccles in 13th place. I know it was a little bit spread out, that race.
Yeah, it spread out a bit. But
there was some really good racing.
Yeah, you always get those little clump of drivers together, and yeah, I mean there was some great drives in there. You know, Roberts. Well, the front 3 all drove very well. I thought Prescott came through really well. Burton drove a good race. Whedon was so unlucky at the end, really, after driving a great race for most of it. So yeah, some good performances. I think the driver will probably be most unhappy. Maybe Chris Sainsbury ended up 10th, but he's clearly faster than that.
Clumpers as well. Clumpers was up in 3rd, was it, at one point?
Clumpers was going really well.
Oh, here's a replay then. So
Robertson running second.
Okay. Oh, just drops on the exit.
So that's how John Curry got past him.
So that's unfortunate for Robertson, but he still does manage to take home 3rd place, and we're going to grab Oh, there we go. There I am. I'm sure you didn't want to see the you didn't want to see the game. You want to see me. So yeah. So top three then. Impressive performances throughout for Holland, Curry, and Robertson. Robertson, to be fair, he started in 5th as well, so he's the biggest mover for the podium positions as well. We're going. Oh, there's the confirmation of the results on your screen at the moment. We are just going to take a very quick break to grab our top three, and then I'll do a quick interview with them. And do think there is more racing coming as well. Next up is the first race of the day for the F2000 category. For bearing with us, we're now joined by James Holland, our race winner for the first race day. First clear race, first victory. It was really easy for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked pretty easy on paper. Yeah, but it wasn't.
No.
It's quite cool though. At the start, I went for a really slow warm-up lap because I was, I know the tyres deg a lot, so I wanted to keep them really cold on the warm-up lap.
Yep.
And also because I wanted everyone else's tyres to be a bit cold. It's a bit easier when you're at the front to just scrub them a bit through the high-speed corners. So I was hoping maybe that would give me a bit of an advantage. First 3 laps might have done because it pulled away a little bit.
Yeah.
And everyone looked like they had a pretty bad start.
Yeah,
with the cold tyres, everyone was struggling with traction. So that was kind of what I was going for.
So what you're saying is that you caused that first lap accident.
You got to drive to the tyre. But so that sort of worked, and then got into the lead. Well, kept the lead. Clumpers had a drive-through penalty, came out in front of me, and he wasn't slowing me up as such. He wasn't affecting me, but when you just want to push and get quick laps in. He then made a mistake, and he went to let me by, but he was on the apex at Coppice, which is the line. So I had to back out. I lost about a second, and then.
We did notice that the gap came down slightly.
Yeah. Just chatting to the guys, I think my front left was decent, probably quite good by the end. When you're in front, it's a bit easier to manage tyres.
For sure.
But then as soon as I got past Clumpers, it was important to put a good lap in to try and get a gap on P2, and I think I put...
you did put in a very good lap, I think.
1:15.2, I think it was.
Well, 1:15.195. So, yeah, really great first lap. So, I mean, the top 4 of you, so so you were 200 quicker than John, best lap time wise. Robertson was 0.2 back on your best lap, and then Prescott was 900ths off your best lap.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty close.
You guys are very, very close, and actually some of the other guys a little bit further down as well, relatively close, but they had some unfortunate incidents, especially Ben Brown. Actually, Ben Brown very quick, just 0.3 off your best lap time. But you put that best lap time in sort of like 17 laps into the race, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just managing the tyres, and then once I got past Clumpers, I lost a second getting past him, so I had to put a good lap in to try and get the gap ahead.
Yeah.
I'm mainly just trying to run in high 15s.
Yeah.
It looks after tyres and it keeps my gap. You know, I don't mind losing a tenth a lap.
Yeah. When you've got a nice commanding 5-second lead.
You know.
In the Clio's 5-second lead is
it's
huge.
a lot. You know, they can't slipstream me. Just don't hit the curbs, don't make a mistake and manage it. So it's pretty good. That's a grand slam, really, isn't it? A pole, fastest lap.
Yeah.
So
now you're going to do it in race 2, though.
Yeah, it's going to be real. So I don't know how I'm going to approach that one.
Did you qualify well in race 2?
Yeah, I'm on pole for both.
So. Okay, great. Excellent. So brilliant. Okay, well done.
Thanks very much.
I'm going to grab your colleague.
He pushed me quite a lot. I was trying hard not to make a mistake, and they're actually the most uncomfortable races.
Where do you think you're most memorable?
Probably the chicane.
Okay. The last chicane.
Yeah. I feel like middle sector. When I push, I've kind of got everyone there, but the chicane I'm struggling with. Yeah.
We'll see you in race 2. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Congratulations on your victory in race 1.
Thanks so much.
Mr. Curry, come take a seat.
Thank you.
Come say hello.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, very well done. Second place.
Thank you. Yes, it
was. Got a nice, fortunate gift towards the end.
I did indeed. Yes.
But lap times wise, still very, very good, and your performance was great. You kept your nose relatively clean. Oh, there was an accident, wasn't there? At some point.
The first corner was a bit of a debacle. I made a terrible start. Decided to do a clutch start for the first time ever.
Oh, okay. So no practice.
Completely bogged down, and the first corner just clears everywhere, and I just about got through there without being fired off, and I was down to I think about 5th up to the first corner.
Yeah.
And then a couple of laps in, I think it was Plumpers, he lost it out of Redgate, and he was inside, but I could see him coming back across the track.
Yeah.
I knew I was as far to the left as possible, and I had 2 wheels on the grass down the first part of the Craners, and it started to slide, and I just about held on to it. That was a pretty hairy moment.
But lost fair significant amount of time, really.
Indeed. And then I can't remember, there was a guy in the Martini car. I picked him off at Redgate on the exit, and then I was just then with the top 3, we were all just trading tents, and I just knew that I didn't have the pace to catch up and pass, but I just knew just keep pushing, and there may be a mistake.
Yeah.
And luckily I got a gift with 2 laps to go, which was I was very grateful for. So Francis has sort of hired us to help defend this championship lead. So I think we've done a pretty good job for him.
Very good, excellent. Yeah. So your lap times were very, very good as well. You're just 200ths shy of James's best lap as well. So very interesting to see that. And you did that. I think you did that relatively late in the race as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just surprised that I was expecting from testing that the tyre deck was going to be horrendous, and for 23 laps I was concerned I was going to be down to 0, but I think luckily, because the first few laps were fairly clean and there weren't too many big moments, I knew after about 3 or 4 laps, looking at where the front left was, I thought it would probably be okay to just do a full push, max attack for the whole race, and so it turned out to be okay. So pleased too.
I just see if we can find out when your best lap was. Your 50. So it was lap 12, so halfway through the race. So and it looks to me that you had a very clean race after lap 7.
Indeed.
After that, it was all
after lap 7, just the top 3. I could just see James up ahead, and I could see the top 3 of us. We were all lapping, trading tents lap after lap, and I didn't actually have the time delta up. I just was just using the visual reference, and I just it was just flat out all the way. It was one of the most intense races I've done, really.
Well, that was pretty tame for a clear race.
It
almost.
was very tame.
Only because of the sort of accidents we had at the start, and I'm looking forward to hopefully being even closer pack-wise.
Absolutely.
For the next race. But still some fantastic racing. Thank you very much, and congratulations for second place.
Cheers,
thank you. Come on then, Mr. Robertson, let's have a chat to the 130 racing superstar.
Yeah, maybe. It was better than last week anyway.
Definitely better than last.
Yeah,
well,
a lot
last
better. Less car, maybe a bit behind. There was perhaps a bit more contact. I could hear a few jeers and other sort of noises. But yeah, we did quite well. Really good start. Really good start from me.
I saw that.
I practiced a few stuff.
Second, didn't you? Or was it third?
Third, I think, from the start. Someone came across the front of the car and sort of span in front of me. But yeah, I don't know if I surprised the people in front of me from the quick start, sort of in the middle. And I think it might have even been 4 wide at that point. And I managed to
at one point, it looked like it was 5 abreast, which was ridiculous. I don't know if it was just the angle we were looking at, but it was pretty crazy.
Whoever was in front of me, they were sort of a little bit slower, and just everyone else seemed a bit slower. And I was kind of thinking, have I jumped the start? But no, it was a good start. Keep going.
Once you've jumped the start, you've jumped the start.
I think I got quite a bit of the curb on turn 1, and then just sort of settled into a rhythm from then. Actually, it was not too bad sort of early on, and then towards John was always catching sort of sector 1, turn 1, and down the hill. John was always catching. And I think up until a mistake, I just outbraked myself into turn 1. And then just unfortunately got a wheel on the outside and got pretty squirrely.
So easy to do. So there's no weight over the rear.
No,
rear tyres in a clear cup.
So the wear I think was 96% on the rear.
Wow.
And I had 22 on the front left.
So
tyre wear was like.
So not a tyre fairy then, David?
No, I was quite hard on the tyres today, but conscious because John was always pushing. Yeah, and then James was just always just get a little bit more and he'd gain a bit, and then John would gain a bit, and then I'd gain a bit more. And it was
the lap times all really close between you guys all the way.
No, it was really close. Really enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah, very, very good. It's a shame we had a couple of incidents towards the start that kind of spread the rest of the field out.
There seemed to be a fair gap.
There was still a lot for us to commentate on.
I don't know where Dean came from the back. I think he ended up in 4, so obviously worked his way through.
Yeah. Dean only took out 3 people on the way as well. So
it'd be nice to watch that back and see what else went on there. But it was nicer than last week.
There you go. There's the confirmation of the results then. So.
Still, James really, really quick there. 1:15.195.
Yeah. So it's 2.5 tenths.
It was hard to see where it was. I think it was just little bits on each corner that he was, but it was very consistent. Yeah, well done to James and John.
Yeah. Where do you start in the next race then? Is it?
I am 6th or 5th.
Oh, so
about the same again. So, gonna be hoping for another good start again to sort of clear the carnage.
Fantastic, brilliant. Well, we're going to take a very quick break. In a second, we'll be rejoining with the first race for the F2000 category.
So here we are now going to be looking at the first race of the day for the F2000 cars. So this will be a 26-lap race around Donington Park, and they are just about setting off on their formation lap. We've got Chris Hardwick will be starting from pole position, and second on the grid will be Alistair Dendy. Ben Brown, the fans' favourite, is third.
Absolutely.
Carl
we haven't seen his fans around for a while.
Carl Ranshaw will be 4th. I've got Ben Turner as 5th.
I think that's supposed to be Darren Kirk rather than me. I'm clearly here, so Darren Kirk will be in 5th.
Darren Kirk will be 5th. Nathan Burton, who we've just seen in the Clio race, will be starting 6th. Michael Boulding is 7th. Colin Talbot 8th. Erwin Klumpers, who also has just been in the Clio race, 9th. And Jason Eccles, who we've seen as well, in 10th. So again, this is a really exciting series. These cars are really good fun to drive.
So, sorry, this is live. This is the warm-up lap, and that is... I don't know who that is, but... Sorry, we're just trying to find out from our producer, who's that? Ben Brown. So there's Ben Brown just spun on the
ultimate mistake.
Yes, not the best time to be spinning. He's going to try and regain his position as well.
And he's starting from 3rd place, so he's got to get up back through the field. And we've got more drivers off at.
Oh my gosh, what is going on
Composite
today? There's a lot of brain fade going around, I think.
So yeah, Chris Hardwick in the 130 racing car will be on the pole. Alistair Dendy, who I don't think did the last round, Alistair. So it's his debut in this series. He had a great qualifying to get onto the front row. With Ben Brown recovering to take up his 3rd place. So here they come now round to the grid. Chris Hardwick there in the white and blue machine.
I think Alistair Dendy is in the Virtually Entertained colours for whatever reason, but
yep, so the teal, green and white car will be Alistair Dendy, and Ben Brown in his familiar orange colours.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know why I was confused there. Ben Brown is clearly an orange driver.
So they're all lining up. Looks like Alistair maybe wants to go forward a little bit more. I don't know. That looks like it'll be okay. They're all lining up at the back. Jason Eccles in the yellow car forming up in 10th place, and we're waiting for the green lights.
Oh, is that a jump start?
Slight movement from Chris Hardwick. And they're away, and it's a good even start by everybody. Looks like Ranshaw's got a good start. Chris Hardwick not the best start, so they're bunching up coming into Redgate. And Ben Brown's off already, it looks like.
And that was contact with Kirk, I think.
And we've got a whole load of drivers off. There's been a big crash in the midfield, and that's taken out at least half the field. Looks like that's Darren Kirk, is it, who's stuck?
Are they stuck wheel to wheel? I think they are. Oh dear. Oh no, they're dragging each other around.
Oh, they've lost a lot of time, these guys. This is really going to spread the race out. So yeah, it looks like Darren Kirk will be recovering from the back in this race. 26 laps, and already the field is going to be extremely strung out. So be interesting if we could see what's happening up the front. So yeah, here we're watching Darren Kirk running 10th, and he's got a lot of work to do because look how much the field is spread out already. So Hardwick and Dendy up at the front. Boulding's had a good start from 7th. He's up into 3rd place. But here is Chris Hardwick. And here the white car, Michael Boulding running 3rd. Great start for him. He managed to stay out of trouble, and he's already into 3rd. Colin Talbot's running 4th. Ben Brown is 5th, despite actually making a mistake at the first corner. I think as a result of all the carnage that happened afterwards, he's ended up in 5th at the end of the first lap. So Hardwick has got a 1.5 second lead over Alistair Dendy. Similar gap back to Boulding. So at the moment we've got all the cars sort of strung out a bit, even gaps between everybody. So it'll be interesting to see who can actually recover from that melee at the start and make progress in this 26 lap race. So there's plenty of time for fast drivers to come through, but they can't afford any more mistakes. Front three have got a bit of a gap. It's a big gap back to Colin Talbot. I guess he was the driver, one of the first drivers who was caught up in that first corner incident, and as a result there's a 10-second gap between 3rd and 4th nearly. So it looks like these front three are going to have a race on their own. Michael Boulding, of course, has some experience in these cars. He's done the USSC Championship. Here's a replay of the start. Ben Brown goes off on the inside, and then there's more contact. That looks like Ranshaw, who loses it, and everybody then sort of can't avoid the track is almost completely blocked at one point there. And then the unfortunate Darren Kirk getting sort of locked wheels, which has really cost him a hell of a lot of time. Somebody else spinning, that looks like Klumpers. So yeah, a really disastrous start for at least half the field there. So now we've got Jason Eccles here in the yellow car. He's up behind, I think that's Ranshaw, I believe. They're battling over 7th and 8th place, just behind Ben Brown in 5th. And at the front of this group is Colin Talbot. Back to the front here, this is Chris Hardwick. He's maintaining the gap, but it's come down a little bit to Alistair Dendy, just 1 second now. And Boulding, as I say, has got experience in these cars, having done the USSC Championship quite competitively. So he'll be hoping to make a real impression in this race. We're looking back from Colin Talbot's car here in 4th place. We can see Ranshaw behind us, and Eccles looks like he's going for a move up the inside into the chicane. It's just a bit too far back. And then Ben Brown just sat there in behind them. So we've already, although it's spread out a lot at the start, we've got a kind of nice group forming here. We should see some good battles.
Absolutely. And on that replay at the start, what was your analysis then, Mark?
Well, Ben Brown went off on his own, it seemed, onto the inside, actually separate to everybody else, and then it looked like Ranshaw lost the back of the car and just had a spin, but he spun in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So what happened then was everybody couldn't avoid him.
Yeah.
And at one point the track was almost completely blocked.
Yeah, very unfortunate. They're actually spread out a little bit less than I thought they would be once it's all settled down.
Yeah, they look very spread out, but they've quickly sort of bunched up. This bunch has come together quite quickly. So we've sort of got front three.
Eccles has spun on his own there under pressure, but no contact.
Yeah, easy to do. He's just made a small mistake. Be frustrating for him having having made progress through the race, because he did start at the back. So he's back where he started, but plenty of time left in this race to recover. So just in front of him, Nathan Burton in the Barracuda car.
So
at the front, we've still got Chris Hardwick, 1.5 seconds the gap to Dendy, so he's maintaining his gap.
Yeah, best lap last time around, 107.697, so that's the best lap of the race so far. And this is on board with Dendy, is it? Yeah.
Alistair Dendy running in 2nd place. Can we see Chris Hardwick? Yes, just about see him up ahead.
It's a nice car, isn't it? Look at that colour scheme.
Beautiful looking car. We know how good Chris Hardwick is in these cars, so no Stuart Goff this weekend. So he was the guy who won both races in the first round.
Dominating last time round, and unfortunately he's on holiday this week and unable to join us. But it leaves the door open to Hardwick and newcomer Dendy.
We've seen that Goff and Hardwick have been the class of this field, certainly the first round. So for Dendy to be running the pace of Chris Hardwick is pretty impressive on his debut.
So where's Kirk? Kirk is down in 7th place here. I know he was sort of caught up in a bit of the accident, wasn't he? Being closely hounded by clubbers by the looks of things.
Yeah, Kirk really lost a lot of time at the start because he got interlocked with wheels with another car, and it cost him a lot of time. But he's already back to 7th.
This is Kirk then. This is looking back on the Virtual Entertain machine. And I think maybe it was that he got past clumpers. And I
think this could be Alistair Dendy looking back, because I think that's Michael Boulding behind us.
No, that's confirmation.
There's Clumpers behind us. So Owen Clumpers, who also got caught up in the accident at the start and drove a good clear race, was a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Now he's making a recovery.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got good pace. He's sticking with Darren. Darren's a very experienced sim racer, and 9 times out of 10 he doesn't complete a race without incident. But that 1/10 of the time, he's very, very quick. So yeah, good form from Clumpers, and he's actually seemed like he's gaining slightly on Kirk through Coppice.
It does look like he's catching him. Yeah, so the gap between them is, as you can see, just no more than a few car lengths. And Clumpers, we know he just so flashes of speed, so it'll be really interesting if he can keep it consistent, get onto the back of Kirk and then try and make a move. And at the front, Chris Hardwick's got the gap up to 3.5 seconds. So Hardwick is so consistent that he's very difficult to catch once he's got in the lead.
Yeah, he's super smooth, and he looks after his tyres very well, as we all know from the endurance series. So, yeah, commanding lead for Hardwick.
Clumpers was on the grass there, coming down Craner curves, so he's pushing as hard as he can, and he's off onto the grass again. Well held. That could have gone wrong, but it's cost him quite a bit of time, and Darren Kirk has pulled pulled a bit of a gap now. So here we've got Colin Talbot, who's running 4th. Just behind him is Carl Ranshaw. So Talbot's driving a good race here. He was a victim of the first corner melee, but he recovered quite well from it. So Talbot, Ranshaw, and then Ben Brown in the background in the orange car. Onto the start-finish straight, down into Redgate. So Ranshaw, he's definitely there. See Talbot using a lot of the pit exit, coming into Redgate to get a better line through the corner. Some drivers do that on this circuit. Down Craner curves, coming into the old hairpin. Good consistent driving this by Talbot so far in this race. And we're on lap 7, 26. But Ranshaw does look like he's got the pace. He's closed up noticeably just on this half a lap, and he's having a look around the outside, just trying to move around, see if Talbot can see if he can distract Talbot at all. Up into Coppice. Important to get a good exit out of here, down for the long main straight, down towards the chicane. And then get your braking point just right coming into the chicane. Don't take too much of these sausage curbs, because these cars really don't like them. If you hit those curbs, you'll quite often get the car onto 2 wheels, and that will really hamper your speed down the straight. And Ben Brown is still there, running in 6th place in the orange car. This is where Ranshaw seems to have pace over Talbot. This first section of the lap, he's catching him all the way down here slightly. But it'd be brave to have a move into the old hairpin. I think he's too far back at the moment, but just trying to keep it clean. Just trying to inch up on the back of Colin Talbot. Definitely got pace this first half of the lap. Very close now. Through McLean's. He's missed the apex though, and he's onto the grass, so Ranshaw, all the time he's gained, he's just lost quite a bit there. Slight mistake. Did well to spin the car. And that's allowed Ben Brown to close in, so it's definitely going to be a bit cat and mouse, this battle between these three, I think. Ranshaw into the chicane, slightly missed the apex going in. Ben Brown is definitely closer. So one of the things about these cars is the slipstream effect is extremely powerful. So if you can get into that slipstream of the car in front, it really helps your lap time and you can catch them even quicker. And I think that's the position that Ben Brown finds himself in now. He has got into the slipstream of Carl Ranshaw, coming down the Craner curves. Braking for the old hairpin. Tricky corner this. Got to carry as much speed as possible. So yeah, Ranshaw will, if any mistake he makes now, Ben Brown will be pouncing on it. This is where he made a mistake last lap. Got it right this time. Definitely got the apex that time. Ben Brown, though, really carried a lot of speed through the corner, and he's right up behind him. Through Coppice. Again, really nice line from Ben Brown. He really takes the apex nicely. And he should be getting a bit of slipstream effect. It doesn't look like he's really closing, though. He's just moving across, just trying to distract Ranshaw a bit, coming into the chicane. Nice line. Bit of curb. Too much curb. Ben Brown running wide onto the grass, coming out the chicane. He just hit that second sausage curb a bit hard, I think. And look how much time he's lost. Here's a replay. This is Nathan Burton and Jason Eccles. Burton running a little bit wide. Wheel banging, coming up into Coppice. Eccles at the inside. He got through. Good clean move. Burton tries to come back at him, but no chance. So yeah, good move by Eccles, who's recovering again. So this is Ranshaw again we're on board with, looking back at Ben Brown, who was really close a couple of laps ago and then just made that small mistake. And in these cars, losing momentum costs him a huge amount of time, particularly if you're onto one of the longer straights. And this is Colin Talbot looking back at Ranshaw at the head of this little group. And he looks like he's got a nice gap over Ranshaw, so he will be. Ranshaw is definitely not in the tow of Colin Talbot. Through the chicane. Nice line through there from Talbot. And driving a great race so far. No mistakes. There's a really big gap opened up between Talbot and Michael Boulding in third. So it's very much the front three have completely gone in this race. And Ben Brown is very close to the back of Ranshaw there. So we've got a great view here of Ranshaw and Brown battling it out down the Craner curves, coming down into the old hairpin. Ranshaw's gone a bit defensive. Here we're on board with Ben Brown, looking at Ranshaw. Ranshaw's a little bit wide. I think he lost a bit of momentum coming out of there. Ben Brown has a great run on him, coming down up to McLean's. Not close enough at the moment. Make sure you get the apex. Nice. Ranshaw, however, Talbot must have made a mistake because Ranshaw is right on the back of him now. As we come through Coppice onto the long straight down towards the chicane. So Ranshaw might be able to get in the slipstream here. You can see Talbot moving around, just trying to disturb the air. Braking down to the chicane. Mind those curbs. They've all got through nicely. Yeah, very neat from all three of them. Ranshaw is right in the slipstream now. He might think about a move into Redgate. Talbot's occupying the middle of the track. He's gone defensive. Ranshaw's trying to go around the outside. And is he going to do it? No, he's got on the grass. He's made a mistake. Ben Brown could have his opportunity now. He's got the run on him down the Craner curves. So Ranshaw trying to go around the outside of Talbot. Pretty ambitious move, to be honest. And it's cost him a bit of momentum. Brown is here right on the back of him. Ranshaw's done well. He's recovered. He's back running a consistent race. So Ben Brown, can he just get that little bit close? He just needs to be a bit closer to get the slipstream. He's taking a lot of curb on the inside. Oh, Talbot's made a mistake. He's on the grass. Oh, Talbot was driving such a great race up until that point, and he looks like he's just dropped a wheel off or just made a small error. And that's what these cars can do. They can punish you with a slight error. They're great fun to drive, but they can be a bit twitchy if you get on, certainly if you get them on the grass. They do not like that. So that leaves Ranshaw running fourth now. With Ben Brown we're on board with now, fifth. Very big gap back to the front three. They've pretty much got it all to themselves. Chris Hardwick now a 6-second lead, so looks like it's all done and dusted at the front for now. We're on lap 13, so we're halfway through the race. Here's a replay of what happened to Talbot, I think. Just gets a little bit wide on, just touched the curb, only slightly. And the car just snapped round on him. So yeah, that shows how punishing these cars can be. Ben Brown is off. He looks like he's just gone off at the old hairpin, but he's got away with it, kept it straight. So actually not lost too much time, to be honest. Still shadowing Ranshaw. So you can see these drivers, they're driving well. Everyone's making little mistakes in these cars though, because just they are pushing on the limit, I think. And Ben Brown's just trying to get into that slipstream, see if he can pull up on the back of Ranshaw down the straight here into the chicane. Not close enough at the moment. Static gap. Brake for the chicane. Mind the curbs. Ben Brown actually takes quite a bit of curb, but just not too much, just enough. He's got a good exit. He's closing very slowly on Ranshaw. Through Redgate. Ranshaw, neat, tidy. Ben Brown got a great run though, and he'll be feeling a bit of slipstream effect now as they go down Craner curves. Will he be brave enough to have a look into the old hairpin? Not really a easy passing place. Takes a lot of curb, and Ranshaw was quick through there. Yeah, Ranshaw pulled out quite a few car lengths. So impressive drive this by Ranshaw. Not phased. Ben Brown still there, still neat and tidy. But he has definitely lost quite a few car lengths on this lap. But the gap is yo-yoing around a bit. You can see where some drivers are faster on one part of the lap than another. Ranshaw's moving around to try and disturb the slipstream a bit. Back down to the chicane. Big braking zone. See, Brown takes that, just rubs those curbs quite nicely. Any more than that and it would really upset the car and he'd probably lose drive. But he just clips and brushes them enough. And he's right up behind Ranshaw now. He's looking at the inside. Can he outbrake him? Not close enough. He needs to stay close now because last lap we saw that Ranshaw got really pulled away down this section. Certainly through the old hairpin he seemed to really get an advantage over Ben Brown. Brown's car's moving around a lot. He's off onto the grass, but it hasn't really cost him any time, and this time he's much closer than he was last lap. Neat and tidy from both of them through McLean's. Ben Brown using all the track and all the curb. He's got to try and stay close through here and try and slipstream him down this straight. He's a bit wide, but he's got good enough drive, and he's going to be right in the slipstream now, coming down to the chicane. Now, is Ranshaw going to defend? He's opened the door. No, Ben Brown couldn't brake late enough. So Ranshaw, although he looked like he opened the door there, but he hit his braking point perfectly, and there was no way through for Ben Brown. So this battle looks like it could run and run. So behind them we've got Clumpers, who's about 3 seconds behind these two. And then Kirk running 7th. There's Clumpers. And here's Darren Kirk, who's running 7th. He's a bit on his own as well. He's recovered quite well from the melee at the start. And here we're looking at, we're back with Ranshaw and Brown. This is the closest battle on circuit at the moment. And here's Chris Hardwick. Nearly 7 seconds out front now. Driving his trademark clean race out in front. Consistent. Ranshaw and Brown still at it. So Ben Brown, again, he's not quite as close as he was a couple of laps ago. Ranshaw is not making any mistakes. Ben Brown got the line a bit wrong through the chicane that time around, I think. Not quite as clean as he has been. They're coming up behind Jason Eccles in 10th place. They're coming up to lap him. So this could be an opportunity for Ben Brown to get past. Is Eccles going to see them coming? He will be getting the blue flags. And he'll be looking in his mirrors, just trying to see where he can let them through without costing himself too much time. Eccles looks like he's kicking up the dirt, and here we go. Is he moving aside? He's let Ranshaw through, and he's let Brown through. Good driving by Eccles there. Saw them coming, opened the door, didn't want to get involved in this scrap. So the gap between Ranshaw and Brown is still fairly static. And here we're looking at Talbot. Clumpers is 7th, and Talbot behind him running 8th. So Talbot, who was driving such a great race till he made that small mistake a few laps ago, trying to recover, and he's caught Clumpers now. So, can he force his way past? He's a bit wide going through Coppice, but some drivers like that line. They like to try and carry the momentum round the outside, and he'll just be picking up a bit of a toe now from Clumpers in front, down into the chicane. Nice and tidy from both drivers. Down the start-finish straight. On to complete lap. We're at lap 18 now of a 26 lap race, so 8 laps to go. Both neat and tidy through Redgate. Here's Ranshaw. Brown still just behind him. Ranshaw is just driving a really good, consistent race. He's not giving Ben Brown anything to go on. And this is really hard when you're racing for this sort of length of time with a driver who's basically on your pace. You can't pull away from them, and you know any little mistake they will be passed. So it takes tremendous concentration. That's what Ranshaw is showing now. Back down to the chicane again. See if Ben Brown takes those curbs. Both neat and tidy. Good run actually, I think, from Ben Brown. Really good exit. So he's back in the toe of Ranshaw, coming down to Redgate. Will he have a look? No, I think he's really close, but he's just keeping it tidy, keeping his powder dry perhaps for later in the lap. This is where Ranshaw seems to be very quick. Previous laps he's been really quick down Craners and through the old hairpin. Can Ben Brown stay with him? Ben Brown very close, trying to get the exit from here. Ranshaw's on the grass, and he's allowed Ben Brown's alongside him. Has he got the overlap? He might be able to get the inside into McLean's here if he can just hold that line. And it looks like he's got it. Will he run wide? Oh, he's pushed Ranshaw onto the grass, but he's through. And that was the opportunity he's been waiting for, and he's finally got past. A good move, I think, in the end. Set it up a few corners before. Branshaw made that slight mistake coming out the old hairpin. That was enough to allow Brown through. Now can he pull away? So here we've got Clumpers, and Talbot is right up behind him. Through Coppice onto the main straight, I suppose you could call it, the longest straight on the circuit. He'll be right in the slipstream of Clumpers. What is Clumpers going to do at the chicane? Talbot's looking for the inside. He's outbraked him. They're side by side. Clumpers has gone over the curb. Still side by side. And, well, Clumpers got through. Defended the position, sorry. I mean, it looked like Talbot was going to get that, but Clumpers rather clumsily over the curb. But he managed to hold it.
That was actually amazing. Sorry, that was amazing. That was so good that he was able to just keep ahead.
You don't often see drivers going side by side through the chicane.
And that they didn't overlap wheels as well was a miracle.
Good driving by both of them, actually, yeah, to not actually collide with each other there. So Talbot's got to try again. Got to regroup. He was so close to making that stick.
This is lap 22 of what, 26? So it was there's only a few laps left. It's gone very quickly. It's pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. This race is flown by. Chris Hardwick still with a commanding lead of 8.4 seconds. Boulding doing well, holding in third, and then a massive gap back to fourth. Here's a replay of Talbot and Clumpers. Talbot's got the inside, and Clumpers goes over that big sausage curb, which really upsets the car.
There's an argument for track limits there, isn't there?
He has cut the corner, but he's at a disadvantage of hitting that curb twice. Back live, and this is Talbot. Something's happened to him.
Has he got a penalty for track limits, or?
I think he must have made a mistake at the chicane. He looks like he's going very slowly coming out. So Clumpers has gone, and Talbot now very much all on his own in 8th place. So maybe the frustration of that move that didn't come off has distracted him slightly, and it looks like he's made a mistake somewhere else.
I think
we might try and find a replay.
Up a replay for you.
Try and see what happened to Colin Talbot. He's been driving a great race so far. Just a couple of mistakes have just let him down. And it looks like the gap to Clumpers, yeah, he's 10 seconds behind, so whatever mistake it was a big one.
A significant one, yeah, absolutely.
And with only a few laps of this race left.
Ranshaw's suddenly found a bit of pace, actually, I think.
Ranshaw's been driving a great race. He's
yeah. I think he's just done his best lap of the race, actually. Okay.
So Talbot, again, very close to the back of Clumpers, and it looks like he maybe just made contact with the back of Clumpers, and it just spun the car around. These cars are very unstable. If you touch somebody on the brakes, they'll spin round very quickly, and that looks like what happened to Colin Talbot there. So maybe as a result of trying again, just thinking, you know, I've got the move done once, and he's made that mistake, and unfortunately I think that will seal him in 8th.
Here's another replay from the back of Clumpers' car, and there is a slight touch there, isn't there?
Yeah, and with these cars, that sort of contact, they will spin.
That's a great slow-mo. Enjoyed that.
So bad luck for Colin Talbot there.
He was looking quick, very quick. Actually, one thing, I'm just looking at the time screen, so one thing that is quite clear is actually most people are within sort of 0.4 of a second lap time wise. You got the front two guys 107.697, 107.960, and everyone else is 108.059 to 108.466.
Unbelievably close lap times, yeah, for most of the
just need them to all have a nice clean turn one.
Yeah.
And I think it was quite unfortunate. So it was a sort of unfortunate set of events. I don't think anyone got a particular penalty from the stewards, unless I might be correct there.
No one did anything deliberately wrong or outrageous. You know, Ranshaw made a slight mistake on his own, and everybody else couldn't avoid him.
Yeah.
That was really the problem. So yeah, I mean, in this race, it was clear that the top three have got a bit of pace over the rest of the field. They absolutely disappeared.
Yeah.
But then everyone further back.
Third place is Balding. His lap time is actually slower than a couple of the guys behind him. So he's certainly in that well, I don't know. You could even argue that Dendy is within that gap, and the only person who's really stand out is Hardwick lap time wise, because he's 2 tenths down the road from everyone else, and everyone else is within half a second.
Yeah, so Hardwick has once again been the class of this field, and we are. How many laps have we got to go? We're
this is lap 25, so they're on their penultimate lap.
Okay, so 1 lap to go after this one. Here's Chris Hardwick.
This will be the last lap.
So he's beginning his last lap. He is 12 seconds ahead now, and it's consistency as well. Not only is he capable of doing very fast lap times, but he tends not to make many mistakes. Commentator's curse here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's going to spin off any second, come last.
Here's Ben Brown, 5th. Had that great battle with Ranshaw earlier.
Ben Brown's lap time's been really good. He's actually 3rd fastest lap time out of everyone, 1:08.59. So certainly a pace for a podium. It is possible.
Darren Kirk just behind him, who's caught him actually, been catching him throughout this whole section of the race. But as they start their last lap, I think Ben Brown will probably hang on, barring any mistakes, to finish 5th. Darren Kirk will try everything he can on the last lap to see if he can get another place.
Last time round, then those guys 1:08.767 for Ben Brown, 1:08.796 for Darren Kirk. There we go.
Here's Chris Hardwick, crosses the line. A dominant victory for Chris Hardwick in the first race of today, the second round of the championship, and good points for him with Stuart Goff not here.
Absolutely.
Second place, Alistair Dendy, a great debut for him in the series. And 3rd will be Michael Balding. Again,
didn't run out of fuel this time.
Didn't run out of fuel, yeah. So, to be fair, he's over a good race. Good consistent race.
If you haven't watched that, it's well worth watching. The end of the USSC last time round.
I highly recommend it. It's a classic. Classic bit of
highly amusing. That's Ranshaw, was it, coming home in...
Ranshaw. Finishes 4th.
Yeah.
Great drive by him, I thought. And Ben Brown coming home 5th. Darren Kirk 6th. That's Eccles crossing line, but he's actually 10th. And then we will be seeing Colin Talbot, who's actually going to finish 7th. It looks like Clumpers must have made a mistake somewhere, because Talbot was 8th, but he's crossed the line in 7th place, and Clumpers is finishing 8th. So in the end, Talbot did finish ahead of Clumpers. So, a great race, I think. A dominant performance by Chris Hardwick there. Great debut by Alistair Dendy, and a good drive by Michael Balding, who were clearly the standout drivers in the field. Some good battling behind, I thought.
Absolutely, and what we're going to do now is really grab some of those drivers and do a few interviews with them before moving on to the second touring car race. There is the confirmation of the results. If you bear with us a few minutes, we'll grab the top 3 drivers for an interview, and do stick with us for the second touring car race of the day as well.
Okay, so I've got Michael Balding here with me, finished in third place in that race. So, Michael, how did your race go? It looked like it was fairly smooth for you, really.
The chaos at the start is what benefited me. Starting in 8th, I think it was, managed to get all the way from 8th to 3rd. Yeah, at the first turn, as you saw. So it was a case of keeping it consistent from there, and I did. So finishing 3rd with a 4-second gap to 2nd, I do believe it was.
Yeah, so it was a really good start. You did manage to avoid that melee at the first corner. And I believe this is your first time you've done this championship.
Yes, I missed the first round.
We obviously know that you've got a lot of experience in these cars from the USSC.
Yep.
So are you happy with that as a sort of debut in the series?
Oh yeah, definitely. It couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, I mean it was the front three really broke away. There's very clearly 3 drivers who had the fastest pace, but the front 3 did string out a bit. So you were sort of a bit on your own for most of the race.
I was, yeah. Trying to keep up with Alistair Denley was a bit of a challenge in itself. Keeping up with Chris is just it's impossible at the minute.
It was a traditional Chris Hardwick performance.
Oh, yes.
What about tyre wear out there? Was it a problem for you?
It's the front left being the only one that wore considerably. All the rest were all right for the rest of the race, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so did you have to pace yourself at all, or were you able
No, I was going all guns blazing all the way, me.
Yeah, so a really good race. Well done, and you're looking forward to the next one?
Yes.
So
can't wait.
Yeah, just build on that, and best luck for the next one.
We'll do. Thank you very much.
Thanks for chatting to us.
Cheers. Thank you.
So next we're going to have, I think, Alistair Dendy, who's going to step in and have a brief chat with us. So yeah, Alistair, who drove the Virtually Entertained livery car, and making your debut in the series, Alistair, good result for you, 2nd place?
Yeah, good result. Happy with that. Chris is really fast, so I'm pleased that I kind of not really stayed with him, that I kept 2nd in the end. I think I pushed too hard at the start, stayed too tight in a couple of corners, and the tyre was dead, so I just had to maintain the place in the end. Yeah,
we were talking to Michael about tyre wear. He sort of felt he was able to push quite hard through the whole race. Was that the same for you, or were you looking after the tyres a bit?
I made a conscious effort on lap 3 to start looking after the tyres, and then a few laps after that started to push again, realised no, there's no tyre under me, so I think I'd overdone it right at the start and there should have been more tyre management.
Sure.
But, 2nd is good.
Yeah, I mean, for your debut in the series, that's a really impressive result. We know Chris Hardwick tends to be the sort of benchmark in this series, so yeah, I mean, I think a good race for you, and looking forward to the next one, I guess.
Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, Chris is quick. He's not only is he quick, he's just really consistent. I think what was he 2/10 faster in quali, but the consistency, man, is impressive, because he just started to pull away at the end, even on worn his tyres must have been worn, but he was still pulling away.
The race was very much the front 3. 3 of you at the front very much got away. There was a huge gap back to 4, and the front 3 you were kind of all on your own, really. So I guess it was just a question of concentration and just trying to be consistent.
Yeah, maintaining concentration is different. When there's no one around you, it's hard. You start to wander and wander.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, happy with that.
Yeah, good. Hey, well done. And
cheers.
We'll look forward to seeing you again next race.
Thank you.
So next we will have a brief chat with Chris Hardwick, who pretty dominant victory in the end. As Alistair was saying, a very consistent performance from Chris.
Cool. Hello.
So Chris, good effort. Another great performance, very consistent. Didn't look like you had too much trouble out there. We were just talking to Alistair, saying that the front 3 very much got away, and there was quite a big gap between. There was a huge gap between 3rd and 4th, and then the front 3 you all seemed to be quite spaced out, but you were very consistent out there. How was it?
Yeah, that was probably a stronger race I think I've ever had, to be honest. That was the key was to get away, and then to be fair, Alistair wasn't disappearing in those early laps. I was pushing quite hard, but he was keeping the gap to about sort of 2.5.
Yeah,
I was
Alistair showed great pace considering it's his debut race in the series.
Yeah.
And we know Michael Balding's got experience in the car from the USSC Championship.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, Alistair's done really well. What about the tyre wear? Were you conserving tyres at all, or was it just a question of?
I was a little bit. I think it got down to 60% wear on the left front, which is not as bad as the other cars that are racing today. So, but it was, I was still sort of pushing quite hard, but I wasn't the car wasn't sliding about too much. I felt like there was no need to push it where the tyres are going to get sort of worn. So It was just keeping it consistent and trying to sort of do the same lap time every time. It was quite enjoyable actually. It's quite harder than it looked.
Do you find it difficult to maintain your concentration when you've got this lead and you're pulling away? And
yeah, I was generally thinking about what beer I was going to have later on tonight. The mind does wander a little bit, but actually no, I was fairly focused actually. It was because if you lose that kind of advantage, you look really silly. I did have one moment where I sort of drove out on the curb and got a wheel on the grass and had a bit of a moment which sort of brought me back to full concentration. But it was harder than it looked.
Good. Well, anyway, well done, Chris. Great
Thank
effort.
you very much.
And we'll look forward to seeing you again in the second race.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Cheers. Next, we've got the next touring car race, which I'm in, so I better go and sit in the pod. And I think Darren Kirk will be taking you through this one. So we're back. I'm joined by Darren Kirk. Well, actually, I'm back as well because I barely commentated on the last one. Mark took the lead on that one and all the interviews as well. Darren, of course, was just racing in the last F2000 race and didn't quite go to plan, did it?
No. Yeah, I was caught out by someone braking very early for turn one.
So you saying you weren't ready to brake?
Not at 250 metres it wasn't. So when I got on the brakes, clearly it wasn't early enough to avoid.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was quite what caused.
It wasn't there.
No, and then everyone just got caught on my car and dragged me down the track backwards. And when I finally got going the right way, I was about half a lap, 3/4 of a lap. Yeah, down. So it didn't really work out, but. That's racing.
It is what it is. That's what some people say.
I start the next race in P2 though, so
that's the important
I will brake
thing.
Early.
You'll brake early.
I'll brake early this time, and then we'll watch everyone else.
Who cares about anyone else, right?
Yeah.
No. So we've got the touring cars coming up.
Yes.
I think I can hear them starting to get ready. Last time I remember, had a really dominating performance. I haven't got the results in front of us, but Matt Richards was our race winner.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he? I think sort of disappeared off a little bit.
Yes.
He's got more weight this time. So he'll have more weight than Jack and Jack Ashton and Lewis Manley as well.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I think Mark Winwood's going to be looking at trying to claw some positions back because his race went.
He did have a disappointing first race.
Yeah, it's a bit like mine. He got further down the track though than I did, which is also annoying. Before his incident.
Right, I've got the results from race one
actually. But I'd just like to say I made it further than Dean did. Our
Dean
producer
came fourth,
Dean.
Though.
Yeah, I know he did, but I actually got a little bit further around the track before I crashed.
Okay.
So as he ended up going into a barrier, well, pretty much for turn 1.
So I've just brought up the results on my tablet. So Matt Richards was the winner by 6.8 seconds. But as I already said, he didn't have any weight, whereas Jack Ashton, who was second, had a full 75 kilos. Lewis Manley had 48 kilos and finished in third. Then behind, there's a big. Everyone else could finish anywhere. I think those top 3 are really proving that so far this season that they are at the top of the field. And then anywhere from Matt just got down to Paul Day, I think they could have finished in any position. It's just a combination of results, and I think we're just waiting for race control to finalise what they're doing. That's what you can see on your screen at the moment. A little webcam we've hooked up a little bit closer to the action. You can see all 15 simulators lined up around the outside of the Simpy Race facility.
So this is where all the action happens, and where all the oohs and ahs come from.
Yes,
which
it's harder for you to hear than it is for us, and if we start laughing it might be because we can hear something that you can't.
Yeah, or at least we know to go and look for something that we might have not caught on camera, which I think we've...
So, obviously we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, no not Twitter, sorry, Twitch even, YouTube. So if you have any comments or want to say anything, want to see something, anything, then please just drop us a line, and we'll be happy to answer anything or make any shout outs as well. I guess is something we can do for you guys.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find.
We were pretty much ready to go. I'm sure I heard the.
I think this race always takes slightly longer to get going because they've got to apply the weight penalties, which is a manual process. But the race controller on that.
Unfortunately, the weight is applied based on the results of the previous race. So Matt Richards will start with 75 kilos. So the guys at the back of the field should start moving forward. Also, the weight has quite the effect on the tyre wear as well. So. It's a consideration for the drivers. If they've got a bit more weight, perhaps they need to be a bit more careful on their tyre stints, making the tyres last for the entire 27 laps of the SRTCC. I can see Grant working on the on his keyboard there, just to the right hand side, tapping away, / change mass, set mass, sorry.
Looks like David Robertson is having a refreshing beverage of tea as well. Yeah, he always put milk in his cup.
Calm his nerves after the Clio race earlier on, and we will be having another Clio race just after this one. Clio's very close racing again. Unfortunately, a couple of incidents meant that the pack was a bit spread out, but we're looking forward to seeing them come back with some closer racing. So after the conclusion of this race, we will be moving over to a new Facebook stream. If you are joining us on Facebook, it might be worth joining us on YouTube instead if you prefer, if you have the opportunity. There is a limit on how long we can have a Facebook stream open for.
Well, we just got a message from Lil Kenny Star Official, who said hi. Hi.
Official?
Official, yeah.
Okay.
Whoever Lil Kenny Star
well
is.
Then, Lil Kenny Star, nice to see you. I can hear some sort of starters orders. We're going to wait a few seconds.
Yeah, just to make sure that they all get off and get round the formation. That
absolutely no technical issues
or weaving issues.
Weaving issues, yeah, that didn't go so well last time, did it?
Yeah, I think you missed that.
I know, I saw most of it.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I just saw
a
few people fall off the track behind me.
So who are we looking forward to watching this time around? I think it's going to be interesting to see Mark Winwood right at the back. As with Paul Day as well in his BMW, but I think we expect the events, the front wheel drive cars, to start off stronger, and Paul Day will come stronger throughout the race. Anthony Jordan in the midfield again. He's bound to cause some kind of mayhem somewhere. And certainly, I think that battle between Richards and Ashton and Manley is going to be
definitely
absolutely titanic.
And we keep saying, oh no, sorry, that is qualification.
That is quality.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at that.
You don't want that? I'm
going to get rid of
that. That's fine. So yeah, that top 3 battle with all the weights in the right order this time is going to be really interesting to see. I know we can see the guys warming up at the moment. You won't see a lot of them weaving around a lot. There's a lot of tyre wear, so a lot of them are just taking it easy and trying to have 0 scrub on the outlap and just deal with the tyre warming issues as they go through the opening laps of the race.
Yeah, one thing I found quite interesting from that F2000 race is tyre wear didn't really seem to be an issue.
No. How much did you have wear, and it didn't affect your times? Or
I just didn't notice it.
Right.
And I obviously had a few abrasive moments with the tarmac, but for those cars it seemed fine. Whereas I know the touring cars are a lot more marginal. But again, these guys, especially at the front end, are going to be going flat out, pushing everywhere. Whereas I think I probably had a bit more of a Sunday drive.
Yes.
How was the tyre wear in the Clios? Were they?
I think Dean finished with about 6% on his front left.
Right.
So yeah, lots of high deg in the Clios as well. So this is Anthony Jordan, his Royal Navy Seaman machine, and he's going to take place on 5th place.
Yeah, just behind Lewis Manley in the red and white.
The Vauxhall Vectra.
Yeah, the
not
Vauxhall
really
Avensis.
Avensis.
Yes, and that's Jack Ashton up in just on the outside on the front row in 2nd place. Colin. Matt.
Yeah,
Scott seems quite far back.
That's another Cam Sport car that doesn't look quite in position, but there we go. Maybe it is.
Guy's got his green flag.
And away we go. And then Lewis Manley's had a terrible start, and there's something not quite right there, and that's held up everyone on the right-hand side of the grid. Not a good start from Manley at all. And further up, we've got there's Manley getting into the back of King, I think that was, and he's not going to be in the best of mood. And there's 3 abreast as they head down the hill for the first time, side by side with our leaders. And Ashton has the inside for the left-hander, but the outside for the right at the old hairpin. And Richards is leading, and behind, I'm sure there's all sorts of chaos going through the old hairpin, and 2-3 cars backwards in the tyre barrier, and they're going to have to rejoin as quickly as possible to make the most of their 30-minute race here. And that's
Winwood, Goodyear Scott, Glodek, all in there. So Mark's day's not going very well, is it?
No, not particularly. And Ashton up the inside then of Richards, and pushes him to the outside. He's now got the inside for the next corner, has Ashton. So worth remembering that Ashton has 66 kilos, Richards has 75 kilos of weight, and just behind King, having a fantastic start in 3rd place.
Yeah, King seems to be really quick off the starts. This is the 2nd race he's done well, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And a good start for all of them. And Manley's now looking to push up to, he's in 5th, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just got the inside of Jordan there. We've got a replay here.
This is a replay of the collision at the start. One of them goes wide.
Oh, poor Mark.
So unlucky. Was that Talbot, was it? I think it must have been.
No, I think it was Goodyear Scott.
Oh, was it Goodyear Scott? Right, apologies. Right, so.
Poor Mark.
That was nothing Mark can do about that, and there's nothing Mark can complain about. It's just racing.
Although, look at King, how he is caught up onto the back of Richards.
Amazingly saved. Incredible. And he has caught up. And of course, it's worth remembering that King has less weight than the 2 of these drivers. Have a really good pace from King so far. And Richards has now got the inside for the last chicane. How are they going to play this one then? Who's going to be the latest breaker? And is there going to be enough space for 2 of them across these 2 chicanes? And just about amazing racing. And King's going to be there with them too. He's going to have to go to the left-hand side. And Wilson is there too in his purple car. Inside then for Ashton. Is Wilson going to go up the inside of Ashton? No, not this time round. King might lose out to Wilson. And despite the collision being between the top 2, it's been King that's lost out, and he's now dropped down to either 5th or 6th place.
Yeah, you can see Manley's just snuck through there, and I think that was Jordan making contact with King just in the background. Only a little push, I think, rather than
full contact.
Full contact.
Full
yeah.
So
I think just the slightest nudge, and that's what we could hear behind.
This is on board with a King, I believe. So through the last chicane, they collide, and King gets a really good run actually. But he just can't go anywhere. He tries to go to the left, and he gets there's another driver to his left-hand side.
Yeah, so I think Jack gave quite a bit of space, but perhaps was not given the exact same amount back.
Just about enough. They both got round the corner.
I mean, yeah.
And King hard on the brakes into the chicane, and there's a little bit of touching between King and no!
Yes!
No, Jordan.
I'm sorry, we probably shouldn't shout, but that was brilliant, Anthony.
Unfortunate for him, there was some contact between King and Jordan there, and Jordan has ended up on the wrong side of the barrier.
Dean? So yeah, we're just
sorry, not trying to go backwards in real time.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get a replay here of what happened. Whilst we see Anthony, Jordan.
I might have massacred several spectators. Right, here's the replay then. Down the inside, King's there. He does overrun slightly. They get some contact. King spins, but Jordan hits the curb and does an amazing jump over the barrier.
Look at how he's applying the brakes.
Amazing, isn't it? Yes, fully on the brakes. Yeah. Fully on the brakes. I wonder if we can cut back to live racing though, because there is a battle going on for the lead between Ashton and Richards, and Ashton is going to the outside of Redgate, and Manley's got up into third now then as a result of all the chaos. And these three are ready to resume racing, and around the outside of Redgate goes Ashton. He can't quite keep his car there. Manley's now on the inside of him. Man, look at Manley. Oh no, there's some contact between the two of them. They're going to have to try and slow it down before... dear. You know, if you're Wilson, surely at that point you've got to go, I've got to get to the right hand side because there's two cars coming across. Very, very unfortunate for Manley. I'm not sure about the original collision between the two of them. I mean, Richards must be absolutely laughing at the front though. He's managed to get 2 seconds on this lap, and well, we'll have to just wait and see whether Jack Ashton gets close or not. But in the background, Manley did rejoin. Can I just say, Paul Day, what a fantastic race he's having. He's up into third place despite starting in absolute last. So great start to the race for him. Here is a replay. So this is on board Wilson's car. So the two just sort of touch. It's a bit strange, and they come across. I think there at that point, Wilson, you need to be on the right hand side because they have to come back on the track somehow.
Yeah, and it's not as if Manley's rejoining at 90 degrees either.
Yeah, difficult one, and unfortunate for some of the drivers. But actually, to be fair, most of them have got, in fact they all have, got on relatively quickly. Apart from Wilson actually. Wilson was the big loser there. He's now down into 11th place, 16 seconds off the race leader. But still in this race with, 21 laps remaining.
It looks like we've got a good battle a little bit further back as well between Manley and the two BMWs of Day and Boyce. He's sort of sandwiched in the middle at the moment.
Yeah, Manley will be frustrated, but
certainly getting on with it. And just behind that, you've got Talbot and Winwood. So, with all this carnage that's going on, Winwood is definitely catching up. And it sounds like race control were announcing something over.
There's the car that's been abandoned on the wrong side of the barrier.
I don't think that's going to be getting it back on track today.
No, I think I can hear him in the background. He's resigned this race, unfortunately for Anthony Jordan. A bit of contact and a big hit at the curb and race over.
Just in the background, Talbot and Winwood are side by side going through. No, I think Winwood's thought twice about that and bailed out. Obviously, he's had a bit of a frustrating day. But here is, yeah, you can see he's right on the back trying to find a way past, and now Keynes wants to get in on the action. You've got a nice little train here of cars, and we can just see further up Manley putting some pressure onto Day as well. But I think here Winwood's going to sneak through, and I wouldn't be surprised if that.
It's got the inside as well on King. I think King's the biggest loser here, and he will move down to 9th place, and all 4 of them sort of slot into line through the last chicane.
That was quite nicely done.
It was very synchronised, and I think King might have a penalty if he's coming into the pits by the looks of things. He's going to serve that now and get on with it in the rest of his race. And down the inside goes Glodek. He's licked the stamp but hasn't decided to post it yet.
Yeah, he thought about it and decided not this lap. Yeah, it looked more like he was positioning. I know Glodek does some real life racing in the metros, and he's been having some race tuition from Lee Connell,
whose motto is "Send it," pretty much.
Yes, but it's interesting. I think the previous.
So the Manley's goes in the inside then of Day, up the inside, and a little bit of contact on the exit, but no, poor Day. Just a little bit of a wiggle.
Yeah.
I was very unfortunate, to be honest.
My point I was just making before that exciting action happened was I think a previous Glodek would have just carried on up the inside.
Just thrown it.
I think he's starting to think and be a little bit more cautious about how he's racing, and it's really starting to pay off.
So Winwood then really trying to get past that Cam Sport Ford Focus, not managed to do so. Glodek, you were just saying that about Glodek, and he's fully on the grass. He tries to go past. Is that Goodger Scott or Talbot? Sorry.
Yeah, I think Goodger Scott's just in the background there.
Yeah, and Goodger Scott then makes a little bit of contact with Winwood. This is a trio of Ford Focuses and an Avensis sandwich. And they head towards. And there's a big throw up the inside from Glodek, and I think that was ambitious there, Shamrock. That was an ambitious move.
Let's watch this back so you can see he goes up the inside. So it's sort of
that then pushes him into Talbot, Winwood into Talbot.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was ambitious.
Well, a lap and a half ago.
He was
my hero.
Very sensible.
At least we're not on race control today.
No, I would not like to be on race control today. Lots of incidents. And,
so Talbot's dropped all the way back to 11th now. So this just shows how close this pack is. He's still ahead of Jordan though, who's gone to the car park.
He's still on the outside of the final chicane. Is Ashton catching? That's one of the questions. Should we have a look at some live data?
I don't think he is.
He is. He's only got 9 kilos less. He was probably the quickest of the two early on in the race. He is gaining. It's only going to be by micro amounts.
Yeah, and if you look at the lap times,
they're identical.
Yeah, but okay, Ashton's
109.13 and 109.35.
Yeah, and their best laps are almost the same as well. So, they're sort of trade intense for second. Although Ashton did just set a purple middle sector.
Yeah, so again 3/10 in the middle sector there, and we'll have to wait and see what.
But it's a long race. It's 27 laps.
Yep. So we still have 25 laps remaining. Then, 26 laps remaining. On board with. Is that Goodger Scott? Yeah, Matt Goodger Scott. So one of the surviving Focuses.
Jack did just set the best lap at 108.897. That was about 3/10 quicker. So
it's a lot of an effort to do 3/10 quicker, and best lap, and then only be 3/10. So gap down to 3.2 seconds between our race leaders. This is the battle that we're on board with for 5th and 6th place. We've got Winwood in the blue Toyota Aventus in our sights, and we're travelling on board the Goodger Scott Cam Sport Ford Focus as they head up the hill for the 11th time. and they're going to go towards Coppice now. And then, a little bit wide from Winwood there. There are a couple of different lines through Coppice. But I do think he lost a little bit of time, and perhaps that's going to allow Goodgescott to get a little bit of that toe, and he'll be able to chase a little bit more through the final chicane. Good curb
so Manley's
riding.
pushing hard in P3. He's pulling away from Boyce in P4. But again, we're all talking. Oh, there's a little shot of us. We're all talking like tenths of a second here.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be relatively quick around this track, and even looking at. I'm just going to look at the results from qualifying. So I know there are some weights, but everyone was covered pretty much by just over a second.
Yeah. So 10th here and there is actually quite significant. The gap between the top two though is now down to 2.4 seconds. So I'm not sure where that happened.
I wonder if some of it's a little bit of pacing from Richards, whereas Ashton's he might as well go for it.
Well, that's true. He has got a big gap back to Manley in third, so he's not got a huge amount to lose. We're almost halfway through the race, and I know that Richards was. We had an interview with him after the first race. He was actually quite physically tired after such a long race. He's used to shorter stints on the sim. So, purple lap. Who's that by?
Winwood.
Mark Winwood suddenly found a huge amount of pace because he's under pressure from Goodgescott, who set a similar lap time last time round. The gap is at 1.2 seconds between those two drivers at the moment. So, impressive stuff from Winwood. And
both these drivers as well had that off earlier on, which wouldn't have helped their tyres.
No, I think I just saw someone go a little bit wide in the background. Not sure if they actually span, but certainly someone was a bit wide. How close is Goodgescott now then? 1.5. Winwood is responding to a bit of pressure from Goodgescott, and he's aiming to press home.
The gap between the front two is about 1.8 seconds now, 1.7.
Yeah, so last time round 109.7 for Matt Richards, 109.291 for our championship leader Jack Ashton. So it's definitely coming down. Jack Ashton is on a charge. The only thing I'm concerned about for Jack is maybe he's pushing his tyres a bit too hard. Too early in the race, and Richards will have a little bit more left in the tank towards the end.
But I think at this point, I mean, from a championship point of view, I don't think it will matter too much to Jack if he does finish second, because Richards didn't do the first round of the championship, and also Ashton finishing second, he's in front of all his rivals. But
that's true.
Ashton does like to win a race, doesn't he?
Well, I don't think we've seen a race where Jack hasn't pushed for the win, so we'll have to wait and see. It's now down to 1.2 seconds as they come across the line to end lap 14 and move on to lap 15. So we're over halfway through the race.
So is this weight, do you think, where we're seeing the difference between the two?
9 kilos.
Or do you think Richard's suddenly gone, wow, I've got 75 kilos, this is a lot harder to...
I don't know, they were very evenly matched pace-wise in the first race, despite Richards having no weight.
Yeah.
Not doubting that Richards is very, very fast, so Jack's very, very good at Donington, and we know that from past experience. A little bit of everything, that's what my analysis is.
I mean, I didn't have to drive this car with 75 kilos last week because I was well down the field, but when I've driven it before with quite a lot of weight on it, you do need to adjust all your braking points and really focus on your exit out the corner so you don't hemorrhage time, and then just a few little mistakes can see lap time just disappear.
Absolutely, and now the gap is down to 0.7 of a second, and Ashton will now be in the slipstream. 0.5 of a second as they cross the line, and Richards will now be under extreme amounts of pressure as they head down the hill towards the old hairpin. Lots of rubber building up on the circuit over the day's racing. Through the right-hander, bit of slip, rear slip from Richards, and Ashton almost copying it as they go back up the hill and towards McLean's.
You can see Ashton just catching up there, but he has run onto that curb. Richards goes defensive.
And gets quite a good run out there, but Ashton will have the benefit. The slipstream coming towards the S's along the dump strip, over the little bump, significant bump, hard on the brakes. Hopefully they don't hit the curbs too hard to get up into wheels.
It's a good run here by Ashton.
Yeah, a little bit messy from Richard. He's going to have to go to the outside though, as Ashton, if he's going to make it work. He goes to the outside, and can he go all the way around the outside at Redgate? Who's the latest breaker? And it's Richards just about, and Ashton has to tuck in behind. He's going to have to try and cover him off, and Ashton will be looking for every possible way past our race leader. Ashton with the headlights firmly on, and this is some pressure we haven't seen Richards have to absorb thus far this this Sunday afternoon.
It was around here last lap where Richards was quite slow. You can see Ashton's gone up the inside. Is he going to be able to keep it?
So Richards then forced to the outside of Coppice. He's still there though. He's holding the outside very, very well. Is he going to try and stay to the outside, or is he going to cut back? He stays to the outside then. They are going to be side by side as they come through the S's. And Ashton is ahead. He hits the curb quite significantly, and maybe too much. I think they both do actually. And Ashton makes his move and passes on lap 17.
It's a nice move there. I think both of them gave each other enough room. There was no silly weaving or trying to duck under the other one down the straight. They picked their line, they took it, and Ashton has taken the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ashton has been very, very quick, and these guys will be tying for points if the results remain this way, and it's a combination of all the points accumulated today that will determine our podium at the end of the day's racing.
I noticed as soon as Ashton's got past, Richards' lights have come on.
Important is having those lights on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to make
now
sure
let's see if he flashes them down the straight. Just to go, I'm still here. I am coming for you. Oh, that's disappointing. I'd have given him a little flash there.
More flash required.
Yeah.
So with how many laps have we got to go? 8 laps remaining. Ashton followed by Richards, Manley in third. Unfortunate incident for Manley early on. I think Manley would have made this this trio very, very exciting. Then we've got Boyce, Winwood, Goodger-Scott, Wilson, who also had an unfortunate incident earlier on. Day, Glodek, King, Talbot, and Jordan, who is well over the barrier. And that's King off the track. I'm not sure he's just trying to get out of the way. Yeah, I think he is. Or mowing the lawn, one of the two. And he does get out of the way, and the front runners carry on their pursuit of victory.
You can see Manley in the background.
So look at his lap times. Lap times wise, 109.6 last time round, 109.2 for Ashton, 109.8 for Richards.
Ashton has the quickest lap at the moment at 108.762, which is it's a nice lap, but he's still in the lead of this race at the moment, and they've completed 19 laps now as they just crossed the line, so 8 more to go.
Sorry, I gave you the wrong number of laps remaining last lap, didn't I?
Did you?
I said it was 8 laps to go, and it's clearly not.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Day and Wilson. Oh, there we go. Look it up, and it's already on the screen. Good job, producer Dean. And Day recovering, or both of them recovering from earlier incidents. So Day had a slight bit of contact with Manley and just got one rear-wheel drive wheel on the grass and had a bit of a spin. And Wilson was collected by Manley when both Manley and Ashton went off the track earlier on in the race. So that rear-wheel drive BMW though is always strong towards the end of the race, and we'll have to see how Wilson copes with the pressure. Worth saying that Steve Boyce is doing very well in 4th place. We haven't seen much of him, but a good strong performance from Boyce, and I'm sure he'll be ecstatic with a 4th place if he manages to keep it up for the next few laps.
And I think, just having a look, that Winwood has broken Goodyear Scott tailing him now. They seem to have a bit of a gap between them of about 6 seconds or so.
Lots of curve there from Day as they come through the S's and onto the pit straight, moving towards Redgate, the first corner. Will Paul Day making moves to the inside? No, stays nice and wide, stays on the preferred and highly rubbered line. Lots of tyres, mate. You've got to be careful in that rear-wheel drive car. He has to get out the gas. If you got too much gas on the grass, it's so easy to spin it around. He's lost a lot of time just from a little mistake at Redgate, but he's still got plenty of time to get that gap down and back on the back. I keep saying that phrase. It's not the cleanest of Wilson. At the front,
you can see Wilson's just made a slight mistake there. Probably lost.
Starting to watch the mirrors again. I would have thought it's very easy to do. Oh, I've got a bit of a gap. Let's see where he is, and you just sort of you drop one wheel one way or the other.
Actually, I tend to turn the gap off now.
Do you?
And just not worry too much.
Just drive.
Especially around Donington, where everyone's going to be so quick. It's going to be those tenths of a second here and there. If you can continuously do, is what's going to get you to the front of the race. Everyone can do a reasonable lap time, but there's only a few that can continuously do those amazing times. And I think in this race in particular, we've seen Ashton and Richards do that. And Lewis, Manley in 3rd place, he's doing well to fight back after the misfortune early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And his lap times have dropped off a little bit at this point.
I think it's now that he's probably struggling a little bit with his tyres, especially as he would have.
Jack Ashton is still going very, very strong though. 109.241. The only one who's anywhere near that is Mark Winwood, 109.367. So the two 130 racing drivers have really unlocked the secrets.
I heard blue and gold cars are quicker.
Right, we should ban blue and gold cars.
Yeah, they're definitely quicker than red cars. That's what I've heard.
So the 130 racing guys have obviously unlocked the secrets of preserving their tyres, and Paul Day then getting back to business with Wilson in front, and here's Chevy. I think it's the Sol Chevy. No, it's not the Sol Chevy. King has also got a Chevy as well, so 2 Chevys on the grid.
It's good to see a mix of cars, although we've probably gone a little bit Toyota as the favoured car now. But you've got a couple of BMWs, Toyotas, Chevys, some Fords.
Yeah.
No Hondas.
No.
No, they didn't have very good VTEC, I heard.
And the BMWs, like we said before, very strong towards the end of the race. And that BMW is pushing.
Here we go.
Through Coppice, and it's looking pretty good for Paul Day. He's very, very close to the back of Wilson. Is he going to make it happen up the inside? He gets it slowed down just about. Not the best exit though, so can Wilson come back at him? No, doesn't look like it. He's in the slipstream though.
That BMW had great drive, just onto that straight.
So Wilson goes down the inside of Redgate, and there's a little bit of contact, and the two come together, and oh, not again, Paul Day. Oh, that is one of the tough things with a rear-wheel drive car. It is difficult to to control when there's some contact.
Yeah, so he's plummeting down the field. It was a bit clumsy.
Yeah, there was some significant contact between the two, and I'm not sure that Wilson was particularly alongside. And there's Day. What's happened to not Day? Sorry, this is King. That's well off the track. Not sure what's happened there.
I think we're going to possibly see a replay, but they are on lap 20. Well, they just completed lap 24.
Yeah, we were almost at the end of this race. There's an unfortunate end to that race then for Paul Day.
That's Winwood chasing down Boyce.
Some good pace from Winwood. If that's the case, those rear-wheel drive cars are generally faster towards this point.
They've got a replay.
I think he's just retiring, or not sure, maybe an injury or something, or a technical issue. So unfortunate then for King. He's had so many strong starts to the race, and then it all goes a little bit wrong. One thing is worth pointing out as we as it's starting the last lap, I believe it is. Oh no, maybe not.
No,
sorry, I'm looking at the wrong events. There will be a reverse grid draw.
Yes.
So
and we have a special guest who's going to do it.
Who's the special guest?
Someone called Jack. You'll find out. Race Control have just whispered in my ear who's going to do the reverse grid draw today.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's one of the competitors' kids.
That sounds dangerous. So, who's this? Winwood then. Winwood chasing down that BMW of Steve Boyce. And lots of tyre smoke from Boyce there. I'm not sure. He must be struggling with a bit of grip. I don't think he's got enough in him, Winwood. He's last time round, I know we're just about to cross the line, but it was half a second. The gap is 1.5 seconds. I don't think we've got quite enough time remaining to make it happen.
Well, if you just said halfway around the first lap Winwood would finish in 5th,
he would be very happy.
Yeah, that was such an unfortunate bit of contact. I mean, it's racing, isn't it? These things happen. Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but here we've got Wilson and Glodek. Can Glodek make up another place?
Yes, Glodek currently in 8th place. Wilson obviously had contact with Day a few laps ago. May require a penalty. We're not sure though. And a little bit of touching between the two drivers as they head through the right-hander, but a job well done from Glodek, and an even better job from Jack Ashton, who takes the victory in the second race today. Second place was Richards, flashing the lights as it goes across. We should then see Manley in his Vectra Astra thing. I don't know, was it Vectra Astra?
Is it a bit Ferrari-ish as well?
Yes,
yeah.
Possibly. And then Boyce comes across the line in 4th, just ahead of Mark Winwood. Goodger Scott will be in 6th, we believe. He's just 10 seconds behind these two. Here is Goodger Scott now, and we've then got Glodek, who just made that move happen on Wilson. So yeah, there he is. So Glodek, then Wilson, and then we've got Talbot, Day, King, and Jordan. I think Talbot's a lap down. The other 3 were retirees. So we'll try and give you confirmation of the results, or as we understand them, pending any penalties, of course, as well. So an interesting race. There's lots going on throughout the field. some unfortunate bits of contact that actually probably some things were preventable, some things were just one of those things.
Yeah, great race at the front though between Jack, great victory. Richards did really well as well.
There we go. There is confirmation of the results. Jack Ashton wins by 3.1 seconds ahead of Matt Richards. Lewis Manley in third place, a further 5 seconds behind him. Steve Boyce was just 7/10 of a second ahead of Mark Wimmerd at the death. In fourth place, with Wimmerd in fifth. Goodger Scott in sixth place. All a little bit in no man's land, all on his own. Glodek finishes just half a second ahead of Wilson. Talbot finishes in 9th, and then the final 3 retirees, Day, King and Jordan in 10th, 11th and 12th place. We are just going to grab some drivers for a little bit of a chat, and do stick with us, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Phase 3. So welcome back to the live coverage of the Simply Race British Championships. I'm joined by Lewis Manley, who came third in his Toyota Avensis. So Lewis, not the best of starts, and an interesting race for you. So let's talk about the start to begin with. What happened there?
Yeah, unfortunately, the lights were on for such a long time, and I went to first gear, but fortunately, I managed to pull the brake in again, so I didn't jump the start, fortunately. And then when the green went, then I realised I was in neutral, so that's why I didn't go anywhere. So that's why I had a real poor getaway and dropped to P7. Then fortunately, I got a couple of places up again, because then the rear-wheel drive in front of me, or front-wheel drive, wherever it was, lost control going to the old hairpin. Then Mark Winwood on my left there's nowhere to go, and obviously got taken out himself. And unfortunately, I managed to get clear. And then going into a couple of laps later, and then Matt and Jack were really having a real good ding-dong battle, and then I was happy to stay behind. And going into the red gate, I tried to take a risk by side by side with Jack, and then just the slightest of taps took me out onto the grass with Jack. And then when I came back on, then I just had nothing I could do to avoid Wilson, because I slightly got squashed. And then Coppis again with Paul Day, because I got to the inside, made the pass nicely, but then he turned in on me and then lost control himself. So there's nothing. I was not wrong there. So at least I got clear of it. So P3 again, which is a decent result, 2/3. So got to be satisfied.
So far today, yeah.
Yeah, indeed, because I've obviously got to, hopefully, with the reverse grid, hopefully I can start on the inside again.
You'll be ahead of these two guys that we're going to talk to in a second for the final one.
Yeah, indeed.
And with less weight as well. So do you fancy your chances in the last race?
Of course I do. I've still got to carry the same amount of weight, 57 kilos. So hopefully I'm not too far down with the reverse grid. So I've got to try just keep out of trouble and just consolidate my points, as I've come 2/3 so far, and I've had 2/3 at Brands and 2/3 here, so just hopefully keep the momentum going.
Excellent, brilliant. Thank you very much, Lewis. I'm going to grab Matt. So Matt, just come and take a seat. I know after the first race you're a little bit fatigued. How was the second race?
Not too bad. I wasn't really sure what to expect with the weight. I was lucky in race one, really, with the weight difference between me, Jack and Lewis. I had equal opportunity, so with this race I was just hoping to consolidate some points, really. I knew that these two guys were going to be quicker than me on the way. I haven't driven it before, so yeah, I'm happy with the outcome. We had a really good battle with Jack, and well done to him for getting through. Of
course, it's one of the things is that the trophies for today are given out on based on the number of points, and both you and Jack at the moment are exactly the same number of points. So it's all going to be down to who finished ahead of who in the next race to see who takes home the biggest trophy.
Going to be a tough one, certainly, especially with the reverse grid. All I can hope is that the difference in weight, obviously, is the other way around now. Maybe I'll have the edge pace-wise, maybe I won't, and just hope to come through cleanly.
Of course, you guys are now, well, when you do the reverse grid draw, you will be starting in the pack, so to speak, as well. So you have to be doubly careful at the start. And generally, that's where most of the accidents happen in the first corner, isn't it?
Yeah. I just want to play it safe for the third race, really. Just get through the first couple of laps and then plan on the attack for the rest of the race, really. If it comes about that I'm in a good position, then great, but need to focus on this man more.
Brilliant, excellent. Well, let's have a talk to this man. Thank you very much, Matt. Mr. Ashton, top UK driver. Yeah, good race. Great battle.
It was a great race. Yeah. I could see at the start I was getting a lot more pace than Matt. And I knew I needed to do the manoeuvre quite quickly, because I know Lewis would be coming straight up ahead. I got past him, and then I just kept making mistakes as soon as I got past him, and then, silly enough, went off, and Matt got the position back, and then that brung Lewis straight on the back of us. Yeah. We had a great ding-dong. He got on the inside of Redgate, and then coming through the crane of curves. It was tight. It's always tight there, side by side. It's risky, isn't it? Anyway, and he moved out, I moved in, and it was just one of them it's minimalistic like manoeuvres that's just clipped each other. And as soon as I saw his car rotating, I turned out of it, because I knew I'd have spun him, because we're turning right. So I turned out of it, went across the grass, and we both did the same. So I think if I kept my foot hard in, which I probably could have, it would have I'd have got a penalty, or it would have been worse. So I think that was the best outcome of what happened. Went across the grass, and then it was just a catch-up game then for Matt. I didn't think I would quite catch him. I was happy with the second, and then I just kept nailing a couple of laps and getting fastest lap after fastest lap. And seeing the gap coming down, I thought it could happen. So I sort of caught him up and hoping to get him, and got him, and got past and got a lead.
One of the things we were really impressed with is the pace you had, even towards the end of the race, was very strong compared to.
I was surprised, yeah. I mean, the tyre. I wasn't really concentrating on tyres that race. I mean, most of the time I've been looking after the tyres, but I was on low 20% of left on right near the end, which is probably the lowest I've let the tyres go, and I was still pushing it. They were dragging me down time-wise, but I was only losing 4 tenths, 5 tenths at the end. So realistically, I think you can push it hard if you want that lead. So go for it.
Awesome, brilliant, well done, Jack.
Thank you
Congratulations for winning race 2.
Yeah.
You got your fan club there. There we go. Excellent, brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much. Right, I think I've got a special guest to come and do our draw. Very important draw, of course, as well. We've got. Come take a seat. So we've got a. This is for the reverse grid. So the number that we pull out here will be the one that is on pole position. So if we pull out number 6, the person that finished in 6th place will be on pole position. Okay. So what's your name?
Jack.
So Jack, brilliant, Jack. So Jack, what I want you to do is to just. I'll hold this for you. Just reach into there and grab a number for me. Brilliant. And when you're ready, just unfold it and show me, and then show. Can you show the camera? You won't be able to see it possibly. No, very hard to see. It's a number 9. So Colin Talbot will be on pole position for this. It's a very big reverse draw, very good number to draw. It's going to be very exciting for race number 3. So thank you very much to Jack. We are going to, if you're on Facebook, we are just about to switch over to a new Facebook stream. If you're on YouTube, your stream may go black for just a couple of seconds, and same with Twitch as well. But do bear with us a few seconds. We are then going to go live with the second Clio Cup race today, and you are going to be in for an absolute treat.